Last time on Square Roots, Corvo plays hide and seek, does a poor job of bodyguarding, and breaks out of jail. Later, he meets a mysterious dark-eyed stranger who tattoos the back of his hand. Listen, we've all met a black-haired boy who wants us to get a tattoo of his mark on the first date, but don't do it. That laser removal's expensive.
Hello and welcome to Square Roots, the classic RPG podcast. I'm Matthew Van Zandt, your always host, and not just the one hosting today because Jim's not here, joined as usual by my two best friends in the whole world, Vanessa the Assassin.
Swish, swish, my knives are so fast.
And Johnny Prison Break Brandon.
Take that, Paul.
Well, welcome to Square Roots, and this week we are playing Dishonored, and this is episode 2 of our Dishonored series. Whoa. Is Dishonored an RPG, you may be asking yourself? Well, it's 2024, and Johnny asked the question, what if we don't play RPGs anymore? Yep. I think it was something like that.
Yeah.
That's not exactly the question he asked.
It was pretty close. I think it was 2024. Are these even RPGs anymore?
So we're having a little fun with it. We're not going too far off the beaten path. We're still playing narrative-driven games. I don't know why we're not the narrative-driven single-player RPG podcast or single-player video game podcast, you know?
It didn't fit on the banner.
That's true.
Yeah, I don't think that's snappy enough.
Yeah, you know, this is basically an RPG. You got stats, kind of. You got a skill tree. You played
some
the
conversation
role of a
choices.
Character.
Mm-hmm.
I've definitely made some conversation tree, although it's always 2 choices. You don't get a lot of choices.
Hey, 2 is more than none.
Anyway, before we dive into our discussion of Dishonored this week, let's start off with our hottest segment, Hot Gaming News.
I got some hot gaming news.
Yeah, please.
Oh, I've got some hot gaming news.
I've got some hot gaming boobs, you know what I mean? Check out these luscious puppies.
Oh, Matt just showed us his halter top.
Yeah. Everyone's favorite game, it's sweeping the nation, can't get enough of it, Phasmophobia.
Oh boy.
Is coming to consoles.
Hey!
Yay!
That's right, you can play it on all kinds of consoles and PlayStation VR, and here's an extra little bonus for everyone. It's coming with full cross-play support.
Woo!
Whoa, full as in PC and console, or full as in PlayStation and Xbox?
Full as in PC and console.
Whoa.
Yay!
But
That's real crossplay.
That gives the PC players the advantage with their mouses and keyboards.
Well, but it's a cooperative game. It's not
so
a
much easier
game.
to shoot with a mouse than it is with an analog stick, you know?
Matt, you can't shoot a ghost.
Good point. Yeah, there's no shooting in Phasmophobia.
Maybe you've never heard of a little movie called Ghostbusters? Pretty sure they shoot some ghosts, Johnny.
There's no shooting in Phasmophobia, and you don't versus any players in Phasmophobia. It's a cooperative game for friends to play.
What if they added competitive mode?
Well, then the PC players might have an advantage depending on the competition.
First person to guess the ghost gets to live.
Yeah, if it's like a riddle, I don't think the PC players would have an advantage. It will be interesting because presumably there'll be a flood of new players mixing in with the more seasoned PC players. And that could be interesting.
Well, except that we just play with our friends. We don't do public pickup groups.
How large of a group can you make in that game?
4.
Four
I
maximum.
believe. Like the 4 hosts of this podcast.
Or 3 hosts of this podcast and Matt's best friend, Paul.
No,
Yay!
thank you. I'm
gotta
too
say,
scared of ghosts. Everybody knows
Yeah.
that. That's a classic Matt fact. I know we don't like to talk about old stuff on this show, but it's a well-known fact that I am too frightened of ghosts and will not play a game that have a ghost.
Oh, also, we should mention that Jim is on location doing a deep game report. So he is not here this week.
What
Don't-
game is he investigating this
Don't make
time,
up
Johnny?
fun stories for Jim. We all know he's got diarrhea again. He had skyline chili for dinner last night.
Oh, he
couldn't
did,
make
though.
it today.
He did.
That's not
What
a bit.
a surprise.
That's a true story.
I honestly, that looks ideal. I think all meals should come with about a pound of shredded cheddar.
I mean,
on top.
that's the part of skyline chili that I approve of.
I think I would need to take a Lactaid before having Skyline chili, but that's okay.
That's what it's for.
It's
To help
the
you make
prep of
terrible
the
choices.
dairy world. It's fun for people who know what prep is.
Everyone knows what Lactaid is. Everybody knows what lactose intolerance is. Don't act like you're in a special club just for boys whose tummies hurts.
I am in the boys whose tummies hurts club.
Oh, that's a club I'm happy won't have me as a member.
I did take a Lactaid before having Dairy Queen this weekend, and honestly, it wasn't worth the Lactaid. It wasn't good. I shouldn't eat a Dairy Queen anymore.
Did you get a blizzard?
No, I got a milkshake. Their milkshakes are bad.
Oh, interesting.
I don't think I've ever gotten any sort of ice cream that isn't a blizzard from a dairy because that's from a Dairy Queen because that's an insane thing to do.
Yeah, I do like an Oreo Blizzard, Matt. You are correct.
I mean, would you go to an Italian restaurant and order a burrito? You know?
I think it's the cheeseburger. Like ordering a cheeseburger at the Italian restaurant.
I've only had the cone that they dip and then they turn it upside down.
Do you all know about Pokemon?
They don't turn the cone upside down. They turn the blizzard upside down.
Yeah, they only turn the Blizzard upside down.
Why would they turn
thought it was
it
the
would fall
cone.
out if it was in the cone.
It didn't. It
would-
didn't.
Because you're imagining things.
Yeah.
They don't flip
Matt,
the cone.
do you know the game Pokemon?
Do I know it? Yes.
Yeah.
Intimately.
There was a hack exposing plenty of employees' personal information, which all these articles kind of gloss over that it's shitty, but the gist
Maybe
of
they
it
think
is
it's implied. You know?
yeah, I guess. Don't do that. It's still not worth it. This is just for like a video game for kids. You don't need to dox people and steal
Seriously.
their fucking info.
This
Anyway,
is a fucking toy for children. And if it makes you that upset, re-examine your life.
but they did find out some of the secret lore based on Japanese mythology of the background of these Pokemons, and it turns out these Pokemons were sucking and
Oh, no.
fucking.
Oh, no. You just talked about how this is a toy for children.
Those Pokemon were getting it on.
Wow. Those Pokemon were getting it on. Mm-hmm. Is that something?
Yeah. So
it
there's a
was
big
great
scandal
song and I liked it.
Thank you.
over the essing and effing of humans with Pokemon.
Oh, no.
Even though, like, have they read Greek mythology? It's all the same thing. That bull, Zeus bull, like, did it with so many ladies.
Oh, he was a bull.
was a bull,
he
and
was
they
a
were like,
goose.
yeah.
He was he was a swan. He was everything.
Vanessa, which of Zeus's animal forms was the hottest?
The bull.
Oh, really? Over the swan?
Yeah, I mean, a swan is lovely. But when you're talking just like raw hotness, if we've learned anything from Dragon Age Inquisition, it's that the bull is the hottest animal.
It's true. That is
Although,
true.
I will give a shout out to Shaft of Light. That's a pretty hot form for any god to
Let me
take.
give you a couple other, just to even things out and just to make sure that you still think it's the bull. Let me give you a couple other things that Zeus banged as.
Okay.
An eagle.
Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah.
A cuckoo.
Uh-huh.
An ant.
A lot of birds.
Yep.
Oh no.
A serpent.
So if you think
A
it's weird that a
shower of
Gengar...
gold.
Oh, oh.
A
I see Vanessa
flame.
liking that one. Talk about hot flashes. Am I right,
boy.
ladies?
Hey!
Mwah, mwah.
Anyway, don't dox your favorite developers. Come
Don't dox
on,
anybody
guys.
for any reason ever.
Don't
Be a
dox
better person
anybody.
than that. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
The type of people that do this are not the type of people that listen to our podcast.
You're
They're the type of people
right.
that listen to podcasts hosted by angry misogynists that hate women, themselves, and the world.
What else
Hey,
if
I've got some
they're
hot gaming
cool?
news.
Oh, okay.
Alan Wake.
Oh.
2 DLC
This
The
is
Lake House.
wild. Yeah. I mean, I haven't played Alan Wake 2, famously, nor have I played the first DLC. But doing the second DLC as a spin-off of the Sandra Bullock, Keanu Reeves
Yeah, I was gonna
classic
say.
rom-com The Lake House, not even a comedy, just sort of a serious, straightforward...
but I would say
Do you feel like I could
The
say
first-
the gaming news first before you guys start diving into the...
fine.
I mean, do you think I could finish the one sentence that I started? I mean, I'm not one to complain about interrupters,
you, though?
okay?
Without farting.
Probably you can't.
The Alan Wake 2 DLC has been announced as coming out on October 22nd. That's right. If you're listening to this the day it's released, that's tomorrow.
Oh wow, really? Huh. I didn't know that. That's news to me.
There's also a sweet trailer. It looks cool. A lot of the speculation was right. It is about the Department of Control's Lake House facility.
It's about a mailbox outside the Department of Control, and you put a letter in it, and then it's delivered 2 years to the past.
Is it only 2 years? Because in the picture that you sent us when you dreamt this joke up 4 hours ago, Keanu Reeves was in black and white. So I assumed that it was like 100 years in the past.
No, it's 2 years, which really sort of doesn't make the tension of, like, will they ever meet or not that high. Because, yeah, just like, I don't know, it's 2 years. Just show up.
So
Anyway, you get to
erotic.
play as FBC agent Kieran Estevez. I don't know if that's a new character or if that was one of the agents from 2. I think maybe it was one of the agents from 2, but I don't really remember.
Was she? Yeah, because remember there's that one agent in the sheriff's.
Yes,
that
I do
her?
remember that. I think that's who I think it might be.
Yeah.
In related news, Remedy has also announced their next game. It's called FBC, which I assume is Federal Bureau of Control, Firebreak, a 3-player co-op FPS. Yeah, we're all pretty
you know what, I'll
bummed
give
with
it a
that
shot.
news. Yeah, for sure.
I'll give it a shot. But that, they don't have to make games for Johnny. They can make games for people who like that kind of crap. JK. Oh boy. Yeah, I was thinking that Alan Wake already
This
wrote
conversation
stuff to the
started
past.
with you guys talking about phasmophobia, which is pretty similar.
There's no shooting. It's not a shooty game,
You
Matt.
play shooters all the time. We're playing essentially a shooter on the show right now.
You're right. I do like Borderlands, and that is a 4-player shooter. So maybe I'll like this.
No, you won't. It'll be Garbo.
Vanessa,
Yeah.
Alan Wake would write pages that went to in the future that went to the past. So I feel like there could be some kind of time travel element, but will Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock show up? No.
Do you think not?
Probably not, because they're both like A-listers and would cost a lot of money.
Yeah, but Keanu Reeves was all over that Cyberpunk game.
Yeah, because they put him they gave him a briefcase full of $50 million, Vanessa.
Yeah, and Cyber Sandra Bullock is all over my porn folder. So Why not mash them
Yeah.
up? You know?
Yeah, why not mash them up?
I would love to make a Tomb Raider style game starring Sandra Bullock's character from The Lost City. I think that'd be really fun.
I still need to watch that.
It would be.
I just judging from watching the trailer, which didn't tell us a lot of what was going on, but it does not look like it's continuing like the Alan Wake story so much as maybe the Control type universe story. It doesn't look like it's about the darkness or the, I don't remember, Mr. Scratch or Mr. Door, or like the monsters look new and interest, like new types of monsters and stuff. And
Oh, that's good.
yeah, it looks like it's
I like
kind of
that.
it looks like it's kind of doing its own thing, which I'm excited about. Alan Wake 2, Game of the Year last year, for sure. And the last DLC was okay. It was okay. Anyway, is there any other hot gaming news?
Yes. From October 28th to November 13th, the Blood Moon event will take place in Phasmophobia. In this event, players will work together to meet community goals and unlock the ability to modify the weather.
What? Does the weather affect anything? Maybe it does.
I don't know. Also, we'll be getting a big update. And we'll fix bugs, address community issues, enhance performance. And that drops
Are you
right
just
before
reading
the
a
console release.
a publicity? What do you call that? A PR announcement?
Yeah.
Isn't that what
Also,
we always do? in
Dragon
this
Age-
segment?
Dragon Age Dawnbreak is gonna
Veilguard.
Veilguard is going to run well on the Steam Deck. They're like, got a Steam Deck? You are good.
Dragon
Nice.
Age Veilguard, which I believe is about protecting baby cows from being eaten.
Aw.
Little baby moose.
I won't eat
Baby
veal.
moose.
I mean, that's one of those things, like canard confit. Or not canard. What's the goose one? The goose fatty goose liver? I won't eat veal and I won't eat
Foie
fatty-
gras.
Foie gras, yeah. 'cause
Okay,
they're
hang
just-
on.
Let's not do that.
I'm confused. Veal, I get. Who gives a shit about gooses? You won't eat a goose?
Well,
Matt. No, it's how it's
real
made.
bad. Yeah, it's real
Yeah.
bad.
Oh, maybe I don't want to know. Hey, I don't want to eat liver either way, so not a problem.
Oh, no, I
I probably
like-
have
I
I
like a
probably
liver
have eaten
steak.
like a veal without really, realizing it. But I also kind of find it a little distasteful. Like, you won't find me buying it at the store and being like, I'm going to eat a baby cow.
I feel bad enough eating pig because they're so cute and smart.
Yeah, I don't. Fuck them. They're gross and delicious.
Right? Like ask Jim's mom with her baby kid, her pig son.
Ooh, I want to meet that pig son so bad.
I don't know if
Yeah.
I should cut that or not. Is that show
Is
lore?
it public knowledge that Jim has a pig brother?
All right. Anything else? Any other hot gaming news?
I think
I feel
that's
like
it.
there probably
Yep.
is. Right?
I don't know. All the games are coming out right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
all
mean,
the games.
Veilguard's going to be my life for like 2 months, so that's all the hot gaming news I need.
Yeah, here's some hot gaming news about Matt. I just played through the entirety of Dishonored and the DLCs so that I could spend the next month playing Metaphor Refantasio.
I'm
Wow.
gonna hold off on Veilguard until we play it for the show. So I'm
Yeah,
gonna
I
be
kind of feel the
baby
same way about that.
Twilight.
Yeah, I feel the same way about that. Like, it'll be more fun to play it on the show.
Sure,
Yeah.
I mean, that's fine. One of us has to be the person to
Yeah,
scout
exactly.
it out, and
Hey,
I'm
not
willing
telling
to do
you
it.
what to do. I'm telling you what Johnny's gonna do.
We know you
I
can't.
really
We know you
appreciate
can't
that,
contain
Johnny.
yourself.
Yeah. Now, Vanessa, I do
may
hope
or-
that it's a super Dark Souls game, and by the end, you become so good at it that you can basically be that guy who does the Elden Ring. Let me fight her. You're so good at Dark Souls games because of Dragon Age. That'd be amazing.
It kind of would be. What if I became the world's preeminent Dragon Age Veilguard player?
Yeah, you'll be like, let me fight her. or let me solo her for Dragon Age.
Let me solo him, and she's talking about what's his name? Solas, her
Let me
boyfriend.
Solas him.
But she does not. She doesn't mean it like the "let me solo her" guy means it.
Yeah.
Let me solo him. Listeners hate it when I growl into the mic, but I'm going to keep doing it because it's fun for me. You know?
I like it. I think it's cute.
Thank you.
Listeners have something that they hate about each and every one of us, and we haven't made any adjustments yet.
I don't do anything annoying. So let's move on to the quest log.
The quest
Before we
log.
do that, actually, there's one thing I'd like to bring up, and that's that we have stream.
Oh, yeah.
Yay!
Johnny and
Wait,
Vanessa
I
have
found a illusion of Gaia killed the stream for Matt because he hates it.
Johnny and
That's
Vanessa
not what
very
happened.
kindly filled in for me the last couple of weeks. Last week because there was a hurricane, and this week because I was tired. That was basically it. I had hurricane fever. I had some bad news in the family that I wanted to talk about, and I didn't fucking feel like it, okay? And they played some Phasmophobia. Our current Wednesday stream is Illusion of Gaia. We've got probably 2 or 3 episodes of that left. We're also doing just fun kind of random weekend streams. I'm most of the way through Silent Hill 2. If you want to see me play that for the first time with Jim coaching me. Jim played a game called Hollow Body that just came out recently and was a real fun stream where we wanted to kill each other by the end. Vanessa and
I like it when
played...
they get spicy.
Vanessa and I played some Save the Queen. It was a delightful game, and I hope that we can get back to that. And what else? Did you guys do something else?
Well, we did play some Phasmophobia.
Yeah, I mentioned that. So we have some streams. We are streaming on YouTube. I know a lot of people stream on Twitch. None of us like Twitch. YouTube's no better, but we prefer it. And
When I was playing solo, I streamed some onto my Twitch this weekend, actually.
okay,
Yes, he tried Phasmophobia VR.
I don't recommend it, Matt, because it blows away all your YouTube settings, which is annoying.
Yeah. I'm not interested in trying to stream to Twitch. I don't want to think about bits and subs, and I don't want.
Well, I just didn't want it wasn't going to be a good stream, so I didn't want to put it onto our Square Roots channel.
Fair. Speaking of not good streams, also check out Bears and Games Neo. I'm joking, of course. Bears and Games Neo is wonderful. That's Johnny's side piece, and that is where he posts long-form video discussions about currently open world games, as well as some reviews.
As well as queer stuff. And
yes. And
I'm actually thinking I have a couple of ideas for
queer gaming.
I have a couple of ideas for a couple of medium length things. One on talking about CRTs and the good and bad and why they're I wouldn't say overrated, but just that people say it's going to do things that it doesn't do, and really oversell. I think that's the good word for how much it will change the way you play games if you play old games on an old CRT. But at the same time, it does look different, and there's definitely advantages to it. And I want to talk more about that because I feel like there's not enough. So much, I know it's algorithm related, but so much YouTube content, especially about retro stuff, is you have to play it this way or else you're not really playing the game. It's no, I think it's good to just
outrage draws views or whatever. It sucks.
Yeah, exactly.
The algorithm is fucking broken. I found you did a very interesting one about what was the game where it was very green unless you played it on a CRT and then suddenly it looked normal. All the people were green.
Yeah, that was Sword of Vermilion.
Sword of Vermilion, that's right. So definitely check out Bears and Games Neo. It's delightful. And Johnny has a new episode coming up soon about Simpsons Hit and Run. We're all very excited for
I'm halfway through the 5th. That game gets hard, Matt. How does...
I've never played it.
It looks like a little game for babies. How does it get so hard?
Because it's an old game where by the end of the development cycle, they didn't give a shit anymore, and they assumed you weren't going to make it that far, so they didn't.
Yeah.
That's
there was
what it
one
is.
that took me one mission that took me several hours to get through.
That sucks.
It's literally a 4-minute mission, and it took me so many tries.
And I won't do the full Patreon plug here, but I do want to mention that we have a Patreon, and we do votes on the Patreon amongst other things, and we did a vote on the next stream, or our current stream game. So that's Illusion of Gaia, and we will feature more of those in the future.
But we are going to have a vote. Like, what? When do you think the vote's going to go up?
That's exactly why I brought it up. Thank you so much for getting me back on track. So since Dishonored is a pretty short one, we are going to have a vote up hopefully this week. Let's say hopefully by the time this episode releases or within the next few days, we will have the vote up for the next game. It'll run about 3 weeks. So if you want to vote on the next game that we are going to play, there will be a choice from all 4 of the hosts. And you
figured out your choice yet, Matt?
Not really. I'm leaning maybe towards Alan Wake 1, to be honest with you. But
oh wow,
I don't know.
I thought about it, but we've played so much Alan Wake or Alan Wake related games this year.
We definitely have, but you know who hasn't? Vanessa.
Matt. Oh. Well, she played Quantum Break. She finished Quantum Break.
Oh, that's right.
I played Quantum Break. I played Control.
Mm-hmm.
That was last year. In fact, that was like 3 years ago.
Yeah, well. No, I think that was 2019 or 2020. It was 2020 because it was the year after.
So I don't know.
Enjoy the passage of time, and I don't really like to acknowledge it.
Sorry, Vanessa.
I don't know for sure what I'm going to pick. I'm kind of, I don't know. I don't want to pick something long, so a lot of RPGs are out the window. And really, as we get towards the end of this year, let's take advantage of this no RPGs things and really, is my thinking, and lean into it.
Metroid.
I just played Metroid Prime, so I don't actually want to play it again.
There's a lot of different Metroid games.
So why would you want to play anything but Prime? That's the good one.
I don't know. There's Fusion's great. Super Metroid's great. Metroid Zero's great. Other M
I feel
is
like trying to
funny.
Get Vanessa to play a Metroid would be a mistake.
Yeah, I think
it
Vanessa
would be a mistake.
You have to be considerate of your
it.
friends, I know that's foreign to you, Mr. Fucking makes me play Bayonetta, but I try to play games you guys like.
I want to expose you to culture.
I'm worried that I'm not good enough at games to play a Metroid game.
I think you could, but that's why I'm choosing Tomb Raider, because I know that's a Vanessa-approved choice.
I love that game.
Which one?
2013.
Is that the first reboot? First remake?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Boy, it's a long one, though, isn't it? Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't think so.
Maybe I'm wrong. When you said that, I thought it was like one of the... I misread it. I thought it was like one of the classic ones. And I was like, oh, no. This is going to be a nightmare. Anyway, get ready for match choice after the vote game. It's going to be something that you all are going to really hate.
It's a 12-hour game. So, yeah, 4 episodes.
Be perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also am leaning shorter and non-RPG. But we don't need to go on and on. We'll come up with that answer sometime this week. And you can go to patreon.com/squarerootspodcast to see what we chose. In the meantime, it's time for the assassination list.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Who are we gonna kill? Does Vanessa have the skill to not kill them?
Oh, well, Johnny.
Can I do I always like to ask this, even though I often forget. Vanessa, can you also quickly, one sentence, remind us what happened last week and what's happening this week? Not the last time on, which is more of a joke that you tell, but like an actual recap quickly so that people can catch up.
Absolutely. Last time, the Empress of Dunwall was assassinated. Her bodyguard, Corvo, was framed for the murder, and now he's embarked on a mission of revenge. We took our first revenge against the High Overseer Campbell, who is sort of like the Pope, and we stole from him his little black book that will hopefully tell us the location of where the Princess Emily is being held.
Emily being Chloe Grace Moritz.
Yes. So Corvo returns from his mission to visit Overseer Campbell with the Little Black Book back to the Hound's Pit pub. We stroll on in, all victorious, and Havelock's like, there's something in the sewer. There's something in the sewer, Corvo. I'm scared. Go down to the sewer and see what's down there.
And you do hear lots of, like, buzzing flies and burps and moans.
He's like, there's a scary in the sewer. Help. So we pop on down to the sewer, and there we see some weepers. Weepers
So
are
they're like,
people-
they're kind of zombos. They're kind of zombos, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're more
they're
like
kinda
plague victims, but
zombos.
sure.
Yeah.
If ill people are zombies, then sure. Also,
They
just wanted to
are-
quickly say, this is foreshadowing.
Yeah. The Weepers are plague victims who have become so ill that they aren't kind of in their right mind, and they stumble around coughing up flies and will sort of attack you on sight. They do count
Vomit on
as
you.
humans because they are humans.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So you can't just kill them willy-nilly if you're trying to avoid murder.
But they're a little trickier to non-lethally dispose of than regular humans who
Well, you
are
get that
weak little flesh sacks.
You get that sleep dart and upgrade it so that it instantly puts people to sleep, and bingo, bango.
Yeah, it takes a couple of,
That'll
I
do
don't
the
have
trick.
the upgrade yet. I haven't found, well, you know, I'm not doing like a completionist run, so I guess
Well, I
I've
don't
missed some things.
think it's a find it thing. I think it's just a pay for it thing.
Well, but
the
for the
shop.
pay for it things, you have to find the blueprints usually,
But
right?
you find blueprints for like new stuff, not like upgrade this thing so it's better. Yeah, you know what? I could be wrong. Maybe I'm wrong.
I'm not
Vanessa, do
sure.
you want to bring back
Vanessa.
your vindication corner from last week? People seem to enjoy that.
What were you vindicating?
problem is-
I don't remember
Sure.
either. I think that I said like I don't think so, and then I went, actually, I think she's right, and that was enough for Vanessa to go on a goddamn
that's right.
Yeah.
go on a fucking sing a song. As if I don't think so. Actually, maybe I'm wrong. Isn't basically my catchphrase.
I'm not sure if you have to find the blueprints because I have been, unfortunately, playing Dishonored 2, and I'm confused now about what is an element of which. And I said before I started playing Dishonored 2, I better not play it because I'll get confused. But I did it anyway.
Oh. Yeah, but right now with this Weeper, sometimes I feel like if you hit them in the head, maybe they go down right away. But if you don't, they they can just come back right up. Unlike humans who once they go down for a little nap, they're down for a few hours. But with these Weepers, they're pretty resistant to that. Like they will come back at you and then surprise you and do a real full screen grab and barf in your face.
Yeah, they like to
Right
barf
in your
right
face.
in your mouth.
You know,
so
it's like some
gross.
kind of right-wing anti-COVID person.
Ugh.
Also, I want to point out something else, which is that I guess the disease has taken them so much that they're no longer in their right minds. But it also might be fair to say that the government is throwing them into the sewers.
Yes.
With no
Yeah.
food or clean water and leaving them there to rot, which,
Yep.
I mean, how much of it is the disease and how much of it is just the cruelty of the...
I don't know. I found them
Fascist
some in
monarchy.
like their own apartments barfing on me.
That's fair, that's true.
In the next episode. So
Yeah, some of them are in a little bit better circumstances than others, but none of them
they're
are doing
pretty much
particularly
zombie. Although I guess they're still in a state where they could be cured. So it's not like total zombie.
Oh, that would be cool. What if you could like find a blueprint for like a rat plague cure, and you could like shoot them, and they would just be like, what the fuck have I been doing? Have I been eating poop? Is that what's all over my hands? Have I been eating?
Why are my lungs full of flies? Do they say do the Weepers ever say anything, or is it just moans and groans?
I think they just moan and groan.
I
I do
always
take
find
umbrage with the idea that zombies can't be cured. I'm still a believer. I'm holding out for a cure.
I feel like if they're rotted, you probably don't want to be cured at that point. Like,
Your
no,
jaw's falling
thank you.
off and one of your eyes is
Yeah.
hanging out. Your
Yeah,
guts are on the
That's true.
floor. Don't cure me. Just put me out of my misery.
yeah, exactly. The what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so these things they have a projectile attack of vomiting, but also like if you get too close to them, they can melee you and barf in your face. You can put them to sleep, but sometimes the flies will attack you as you're putting them to sleep, like
Yeah,
with a
it's
little
gross.
chokehold. Yeah.
I don't remember being
So
attacked
it does
by any
encourage you to
flies.
play differently than like with regular enemies, and I like that. You know, it's a mixing them up. You can't just rely on just always sneaking behind someone and choking them out. As fun as
Yeah.
that is, or as
You
Matt does it, I
can-
don't know, cut their heads off.
Yeah,
or
you
something.
can't
set them
always
on fire.
rely on sneaking up behind them and stabbing them right through the fucking neck, because that, my friends, puts them down real fast.
Jim's discovered the
However-
incendiary bolts.
Yeah, those things are fun AF.
Pierre would like a living weeper, so he gives you a little reward if you're able to keep one of them alive.
Oh, really? No.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you get a
I
whole
missed
bunch
that.
of sleep darts.
Oh, who cares? I
You're not
barely
gonna use
use
them
those things. That's not
And
true.
frankly-
you know what? I didn't kill any dogs. Thank you very much. I put the doggies to sleep and I murdered all the humans.
Yay!
Putting a dog to sleep is killing. When you put a dog to sleep, they go live in a farm upstate.
Wait, are you saying in this game, if you use the sleep darts on the dogs, they die?
Yeah, no.
I'm just saying,
she's
put a dog to
Yeah,
sleep.
yeah.
Only has one meaning as far as I know.
she's doing a riff on the term "putting a dog to
They
sleep."
do get real quiet. It's not like they snore like humans that are asleep. I killed all those dogs. I'm a
buddy.
real Johnny.
No. They're going off
Yeah,
to Tyria. You know, there's big farms out in Tyria where the dogs can run and play, and they'll be so happy out there.
Well, and, you know, obviously, once they were asleep, I also stabbed them in the brain. But that's just helping them sleep good. That's just good sleep for them.
Anyway, so now we know that weepers are a thing. Sort of, I'm kind of surprised. I know you both don't like crap sack worlds where everything is terrible. This is kind of a crap sack world where everything is
Yeah.
terrible, right?
Yeah, it is. It's a dystopian,
It is.
like, whatever. You know what? This, I think, makes up for it by being, like, also interestingly weird with the Industrial Revolution setting, which we have in the past really rarely seen. It's certainly something that you see more and more these days. But also, like, its own, like, weird fantasy version of the world where there's, like, whale oil is the big thing, and
Well, and the whole thing with the outsider.
oh, come
I feel like there's hope. There is hope to it. It's not one of those things where there is no hope and the only thing you have to do is kill.
Yeah, it's
and,
not
you know.
Warhammer 40K.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
Outsider, I don't think is interesting in this game. He becomes very interesting in the next game and the DLC.
I've found 2 shrines so far, and I don't think I've actually not this mission. The Royal Physician, I think, is as far as I got last time. I thought I got way further. I don't know how many missions there are in this game, but yeah. So by this chunker, I've already gone past where I got to.
If you count the DLC, a lot. If you don't count the DLC, not a lot. Like 7.
Oh, okay.
6. Anyway, I think that the world is very interesting, and that kind of makes up for like what a nightmare it is. But also, like, it's not. You're right that it's not like a grim, dark.
Yeah.
No hope. It's just
It's a bad time.
period in time. You know,
Yeah.
and partially,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, partially that's because of the plague, and also because the Empress has died, and it's a game about an assassin, so it makes sense for it fits the setting.
Yeah.
Also,
think
I
it's-
learned this week that Deathloop, is that the name of the game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is set in this in this world.
Oh, that's really cool.
Chris was telling me about it. He said that there are a few references in Deathloop, and one of them is somebody has an old whale oil bullet, which apparently the bullets in this game are whale oil bullets.
The incendiary ones are.
Oh,
Interesting.
I've got a question. Because in this mission, the House of Pleasure, I used the gun for the first time. And why would you use that? It doesn't kill people right away like the crossbow does, and it's way louder.
If you're close enough to them, you shoot them in the face, it does. Well, I know that because I did it a bunch. I definitely in the past have tried to play, not a ghost game, but like a near ghost game. And in this playthrough, I was definitely just like, didn't care. And if I got like spotted and a bunch of guards arrested me, I just fucking killed them. It was.
Well, yeah, if you see like guards about to execute a lady for no reason, you don't have time for sleep darts. You know what I mean?
You do.
All right, let's get into it. We have not even really started this yet. So
let's go.
We did the Weeper
We
quest.
crawl up out of the sewers, and Havelock and Martin, who is the overseer who we saved from the stalks, they're going over the little journal, Overseer Campbell's Black Book, and they say, hey, we know where Emily's being held. She's at the Golden Cat.
That's my cat sound.
Her.
So the Golden Cat, is that
was
like a
worth
Moulin
waiting for you
Rouge?
to unmute the mic.
Is it like a can? Can?
Sure. It's a normal, legitimate can theater.
It's a brothel. It's definitely a gross brothel.
Yeah.
A lot of the decor reminds you a lot of like turn of the century Moulin Rouge kind of looks to it. I
It does
love
have a Moulin
the,
Rouge vibe.
It definitely leans
I love
into
the insides.
It definitely leans into the grossness of the setting, as we discussed, that they have taken the murdered Empress's daughter, and are keeping her in a whorehouse. Sorry, a toot house, I believe. Toot house.
Yeah,
A
thank you.
Swerker. A
Swerker house.
chateau.
Yeah.
So, also at the Golden Cat are the elder Pendleton brothers. Lord Pendleton is the kind of Weasley noble who's been hanging around, and he has two older brothers who are twins.
Twins?
And they're a problem because they are supporters of the Spy Master, who's now calling himself the Lord Regent. And they represent
It's always the
voting
twins,
bloc.
Vanessa.
I'm sorry?
It's always the twins.
It's always the twins. They represent a big voting bloc for him in the Parliament. So we need to get rid of them. So then the younger Lord Pendleton will sort of assume their parliamentary seat and be able to vote against
He's the one who looks like a real Hugo Weaving. Is Lord Pendleton.
I wonder if is he played by anybody recognizable?
He is, and I can't remember who, but we talked about it last time. Is that one John Slattery? Is that
No,
his name?
Slattery is Havelock.
Okay. Lord Pendleton. Oh, maybe he's played by that guy from Friday Night Lights that Jim was
He's voiced by
about.
Derek
No.
Phillips.
Don't know.
He voiced Arthur Maxon in Fallout 4, Randall in The Walking Dead, Michelle.
And he was Billy Riggins in Friday Night Lights.
Oh, okay, it was. Okay, sorry. Never mind then. He does give me gay-coded vibes. Like some comments he makes about people and stuff. And I feel like it's near his room that you can find that gay smut in the bathroom.
Interesting. He does have that sort of burly manservant who he's always hanging around with.
Is that Waverly?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we agree to go get Emily, of course, and on the way out, Lord Pendleton the Younger is like, hey, I hear you're going after my brothers. That kind of sucks, but what can you do? That's life. But he seems a little conflicted about it. He's like, I can't really wish you luck knowing what you're going to go do, but I'm not going to stop you.
Yeah, it's a relatable reaction, you know? Like, he knows that his brothers are traitorous pieces of shit and probably deserve this, but also, you know, it's family.
Yeah. So we go back to the distillery district. It's kind of interesting. This is the only time in the game that we really revisit a map in this way. And it's the same place that we landed with Samuel before.
Yeah, it is a
Although
little
there
weird,
have
right?
been some changes. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I
it's
feel like they
interesting to
could
see
have put the Sokolov mission before this, and it wouldn't have really changed anything. And I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I guess maybe they wanted to get to getting Emily back sooner.
Maybe
Or
they
show
wanted
you that
to...
there can be results to your actions, so you sort of see what happens based on the stuff you did the last time.
Yeah, that's what I was going to
That's
say
true.
as well. Maybe they wanted you to revisit and see. Even though, again, it never really happens again. So it's weird. I guess that's not true. It does. Well, we'll talk about it.
Well, we get results to our actions that aren't as apparent, I think, as in this map.
You like in the when we were here before, you could save Griff the merchant, and now he is here, willing to sell you stuff. Which is again the only time in the game, I think, that you will find a merchant willing to sell you stuff in the world, and not just Piero at the hub, which is weird.
It's true.
It's almost like they were making one game and then they were pivoted. They were like, we can't do a third one of these, and Griff doesn't matter. Like, we're not going to keep doing this. Let's just go make a new map.
Yeah. I did.
Or
And it also
this is
has
kind
shows
of maybe this is like a filler thing where they were like, shit, we need at least like one more mission.
Right.
Maybe you
you could have gone
rescued
directly
Emily
to
from
the
Sokolov's place, and then they were like, this game's a little short. Let's make
or
a
they
whorehouse.
made the golden cat and felt like it was too small of a level, so they added
Oh
it.
yeah.
That's
right
definitely
next to-
possible.
Yeah, but at least you do get like the what happened if you poison the distillery, and all of Slackjaw's guys are half of them are in pens, sick with the weeping sickness.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're all penned up, and unfortunately, there's a bone charm in there, but you don't let the. It was weird. Like for some reason.
Oh,
I go
yeah.
in. I talk
There's like
to
three of them in there
Slackjaw.
now.
Yeah, there's another pen under
that's
the
right.
distillery full of. They will barf at you if you stand around
Yeah.
looking at them. It's really annoying. But if you go talk to Slackjaw, he's like, "Hey, I understand. Maybe you want to find a different way to do it. So let's work together because all my guys are busy having the plague. I don't know what happens if you didn't make them all plaguey. I'm sure he has different dialogue here.
Yeah, I didn't make them all plaguey. There was nobody in that pen, so I could stroll on in and get that bone charm, no problem. And he basically just says, hey, I have, like, I know that you're here for these Pendleton brothers because there's no one else worth killing around here. If you can get me the code to this artist's safe that I've been trying to break into, then I'll take care of the Pendleton brothers. I promise they won't die, but they'll never be a problem again.
Yes, it's an art dealer, and you can actually run into the apartment before you run into Slackjaw with this dialogue and kill all of his men that are in the art dealer's apartment, which I
thought they would be
did.
friendly. I assumed they wouldn't attack me, and then I run upstairs and they're just all after me all
really?
at once. I was like,
That's dumb.
But this was after I talked to Slackjaw, so it's like, I just wanted to see what's up. But they are very possessive of that.
I had the
safe.
same experience. Yeah. They're robbing that house, and they don't really know you, and they don't want you to get involved.
I don't
That's
know
my
you.
purse. I don't know you.
Oh, there's some
That
hot
says
game
not a
we
little
all
news.
did
Bobby.
talk
King of
to
the Hill
Slackjaw.
the King of the Hill return is soon. The first 2 episodes got titles, and the first one is titled "The Return of the King."
Is it going to be like 20 years later, or is it still the same era?
I don't know.
I'd like to see what grown-up Bobby is like.
I would too, actually. I hope that it is later. I'll tell you what. There's a new season of Futurama. Woof. Why did they bring that back?
Well,
They shouldn't
they
have brought
keep
it back.
bringing it back.
The last time.
Yeah, they brought it back in
ending-
like 2005.
That ending with Fry and Leela, where they like loop through time over and over again, was fucking beautiful and made me cry. And they should have put it to bed after that.
the same thing happened with Red Dwarf, where it had this, I think I've told you before, it had this amazing ending at the end of season 6 where they thought they were stopping and had a beautiful time looping ending. So
really?
Very similar. Yeah. And they're like, no, you know what? That didn't happen. Let's keep going.
I've never watched Red Dwarf.
I
don't know why.
I don't know if you'd like it, Matt.
I mean, I'm a big
Try-
Monty
you can
try it.
Python
I'd never
fan.
get
Isn't it
into it.
basically the same shit?
It's not as smart. I would say it's a little crappier, but I like it, and I like especially those first 6 seasons are really fun. But also time and place. I was 13. You know, it's ideal show for a 13-year-old for sure.
Well, and not to derail us too much, but I was saying this to somebody the other day, like, when it comes to older stuff like that, it's the type of thing that when I was younger, I would like watch it or see some of it and be like, this looks so cheap and shitty. I can't stand this. But now when I watch it, I'm just like, well, this is from the 70s. Of course it looks cheap and shitty, and it's fine. You know, it's the same reason I managed to get into Star Trek years after it was on the air. When it was on the air, I thought it was fucking garbage. It looked like shit, and I couldn't stand it.
Yeah.
And now everything from that era looks like shit, so who cares?
There was, with Red Dwarf, the first 3 seasons they remastered right around the Star Wars Special Edition era with like really bad late 90s CG, and they replaced these amazing models that they used. And I don't know, I feel like they don't show the redone versions anymore, and you can pretty easily watch the originals, because the originals like stop motion and little model ships look really cool. They have a really fun design to them. But yeah, the CG and later stuff is
I'll have to remember
so
to try
bad.
and check that out after October when I'm done watching every horror movie ever made, which is my current goal.
Yeah.
Hey, did you finish The Fly?
No, Matt. I've been busy. I got home, made dinner, and then I had to play this game.
Quest log. So,
Quest log.
Fly was really good.
there are some other interesting changes around this area in that there's some sneaky assassins hanging out on some roofs. Did you guys see these guys?
Yeah, they came at me, but they all fell asleep.
Oh, sleeping on the job.
And so, but they are like crowy assassins. So
Yeah.
does that mean they're outsider? But why would they have outsider powers if the outsider's on my side? I'm
Is the
confused.
It's a
outsider
mystery.
on your side?
Mm-hmm.
It's a big mystery. Well, is the outsider on your side? I don't know that that's a mystery. Like, he does not seem like somebody that takes sides.
Yeah.
He pretty explicitly is
Vanessa's
just
side.
like, you seem pretty interesting, so here's some powers.
Let's see what happens.
I guess I missed outsider shrines until the next chapters. The first outsider shrine I found. Is there an outsider shrine in the first?
Are you
the first
collecting
trip?
all of the runes?
No, I'm not trying to 100% this game. So
Well, I'm not trying to 100% the game, and I still got all the runes because that's fucking upgrade money, basically. Like, the bone charms can kiss my ass, but the runes, gotta have those runes.
in the next, or not in the next, I think I got almost all the runes, but in the party, the last party, I definitely got all the runes because they're pretty easy to get.
I only missed one rune, and it was in the DLC, and only because I did the mission to get the rune. It was a granny mission, and I did the mission to get the rune and just didn't realize that it was sitting there and I should pick it up because I'm dumb.
Oh, interesting.
Anyway.
So we make our way to the Golden Cat, which is
Well, hang on.
sort of the same way we...
Did you all agree to help Slackjaw?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, because he says there's a way he can deal with those brothers that won't kill them, but will get them out of your hair forever. He's gonna like shave them bald and put them to work in the mines or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
They won't be recognizable. Oh, and cut out their tongues so they can't say who they are. That's pretty fucking rough.
It is.
Yeah, the having played this before, the non-lethal options are in many ways much worse than the lethal options.
For the last party, 100%. And for this, too.
We'll get to that next week. Oh, yeah. Listeners, we're not going to do Last Party this week because Jim isn't here, and it's not a party without Jim Banks.
Yeah,
and we all had
some
different
fun with
experiences. And also, Vanessa was feeling lazy and didn't want to write the notes for that part.
Wow.
That's fine.
Called out on the air. I can't believe this.
that. So there's this art dealer. Slackjaw's asking us to get the code to his vault. It sounds like it's not written on the wall, and it's not 451. So it's going to take some work.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's interesting. Like, he tells you that the art dealer is at the Golden Cat, so you're going to have to go.
I thought, so I was walking on my way to the Golden Cat, and he also asked you for another favor. He's like, hey, by the way, can you go check out the doctor's house? I want to see what happened to my agent who I sent over there.
No, that was last week, right?
No.
I thought so.
Yeah, it was.
No,
no, okay.
Right.
You go to the
Johnny's
doctor's
right.
house twice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
'Cause
last week was to
Granny-
get the rat stuff or whatever
Yeah.
for
Oh,
Granny.
okay. Oh, to poison
Yeah.
it. That's right. You're right.
Yeah. And this time's to find the agent who is very dead.
Real weird that it's not only does it start you in the same area as the first mission, but then sends you back to the same places. It sends you back to the distillery. It sends you back to the doctor's house. Like,
Dr. Steve Galani.
This is filler, which is weird. Dr. Steven Stone, obviously.
Oh, you're right. Sorry.
Although in the first game, or in the first time you come here, you can avoid Granny, and you don't have to go to that house at all. You don't have to go to the distillery.
You don't have. Do
same
you have to
time.
do it this time? I don't think you have to do
No,
it.
you don't have to. But I think it encourages you more this time to do it.
And this time I felt a bit more confident in the game mechanics, so I did take out all the guards just for fun.
It is fun.
I do like hiding them in fireplaces or on beds. I feel like putting a guard to bed is a fun thing to do, or just throwing them in the fireplace. No one's going to see them there.
I agree with you that it is fun to do that, but by this point, I definitely had picked up the shadow kill power, which does turn anyone that you sneak attack kill into ash, so you don't have to worry about their bodies, which is extra powerful.
Does that include if you Mario stomp them?
Yes, and it also includes if you crossbow bolt them from across the map. So people just vanish like fucking magic, and it's awesome.
Wow.
So since you're playing such a high chaos route, does that mean like in this chunker the map is full of more weepers and rats?
I don't know about more weepers, but definitely there are a fuckload of rats, which is annoying, actually. I wish that they had given you a way to... At most, I think I found a bone charm that would make them maybe not attack you like late in the game.
There's a lot of rat-related bone charms.
I did
like
spend...
one that gives you more white rats and one that gives you mana back from white rats. And
yeah, you eat the white rats. I didn't really do that. Like, I don't know. I don't got the time.
I do.
I had 10 health potions and 10 mana elixirs the entire game. Anytime I happened to fall a little behind on health or mana, I would find another potion and restock my... It was crazy. It was ridiculous. This was never an issue. Like, I played it on normal. Maybe on the higher difficulties, I'm sure it's more difficult, but boy, it was silly. It was silly.
The only time I was
behind.
in danger is in the next mission where I ended up falling in the water and then got a bunch of... Well, we'll talk about it in a second.
Yeah, we'll talk about it in a second.
Yeah. So so you on your way through the alley, I had to dodge some weepers. There weren't that many. There's like 4 or 5 weepers out there.
Had to kill some weepers.
I ran across this lady, and they were like saying, "Hey, where'd you get this Sokolov elixir? You're too poor to have this." And she's like, "Help! Someone help me!" And so I was like, "Well, no time to take out a crossbow and load the sleepy dart." So
Oh boy.
like,
what did Mr. Bean do this week?
Mr. Bean shot them. And this is when I found out that if you don't aim carefully with the gun, they can survive a couple of bullet hits. I was like,
you got to hit him in the head.
This kind of sucks.
So you're saying this was more of a Johnny English episode and less of a Mr. Bean episode?
Yeah, what I would say I did lean more on Johnny English for this mission.
Was the lady grateful for you?
Yeah, and she gave me the key to the art dealer's house. She's like, "Hey, I work here. Maybe you can find some stuff in there." And that's where I found out that the Slackjaw's goons are not friendly to me, even though I'm on a mission for them. I don't know.
Okay, well, this is a fantasy, and they don't have fucking walkie-talkies or pagers or cell phones. So, like, what?
That makes sense.
I'm sure they have a portable earpiece that's powered by whale oil that they could communicate with each other. But it's like one of those big ear horns.
I like that. No, go ahead, Vanessa.
Oh,
please.
also,
Johnny.
this area has they've installed guard towers this time, and the guard
these
towers are the most fun because they're so poorly defended. You can jump. You can. I guess they don't expect anyone to blink onto there, and you can just swap out.
I mean,
you can take out the
think that-
whale tank.
I would say that putting something on like really tall stilts 50 feet up in the air and then pulling up the ladder is pretty good defense. But
That's fair. I didn't realize you could reprogram these. Johnny posted a video of it. I don't know. I never found like a rewire spot for these, which I'm real bummed out about. Like I would have done it to all of them. One of my favorite things to do is to rewire the arc pylon reactors, to rewire the walls of lights, and just watch idiots walk into them. It made me laugh every fucking time. I loved rewiring the arc pylons, which are these little towers of death that'll just zap anybody around, like any bad guy around, which is you. But you can rewire it and it'll zap all the guards. And I loved doing that and then leading guards back to the arc pylon and letting them just walk into it and die. Because with the walls of light, if they see a friend die, they won't try to go through it. They'll circle around, which is good AI. It's good enemy AI. But it was a little annoying. With the arc pylons, they would just rush me and rush me and rush me. So much so that there was one that I had to replace the whale oil tank in the arc pylon twice because I killed so many fucking guards with it.
So you will notice, I always thought like something like the arc pylon would be a non-lethal takedown because the Watchdog games have taught me that electricity will just make people sleepy. It's not going to kill them.
Yeah, it's just a taser.
And I thought, like, these guard towers, when I was Mr. Bean, I was like, oh, what happens if I rewire this? And, it started blowing people up.
Oh.
They do go flying, which is pretty funny.
I do suspect, Johnny, you knew that the tall guard towers that shot bullets, you claim that you Mr. Beaned your way into... accidentally rewiring that and then accidentally returning to where the whale oil tank is inserted and inserting it. I don't know if that was a Mr. Bean.
What happens if I put this back in?
Some whale oil tank fell out. I can better put it back here.
Oh, this bag goes right here. Oh no, it's exploded. I should leave.
So it did blow up some people a little bit, but it's fine. It's low chaos. It's fine. I only killed a couple of people.
Yeah.
And those guys were jerks, so they deserved it.
I was going to say, you said you had fun going around to the doctor's house and knocking out all the guards. That was this whole game for me, was like almost challenging myself to kill every single fucking person I saw.
Well, that seems like Vanessa tends to give everyone little naps, too.
I do. Sometimes I challenge myself to give every single person a little nap.
You can't give important characters little naps or the game ends, though.
Yeah, it really depends on the situation and the circumstance. The other thing Slackjaw does for us is he tells us a good back way into the Golden Cat, which is to go through this abandoned hotel that's sort of near the entrance.
He does?
Pop you out on the roofs instead of in the alleys is basically the only difference.
I probably should have listened to his talk.
Yeah. So that's how I got through. I went through the hotel and then was out on the roof looking across at the Golden Cat. Did you just go through the main door then, Johnny?
Yeah, I just went through the main door. It was fine. You get time. You can just zap immediately onto some lights, and yeah, I didn't alert any guards. It was fine.
And here we get the choice of, are we going to go for the art dealer or are we going to go directly after the Pendleton brothers ourselves? Johnny, I assume you just bumbled your way.
Well, yeah, I went in. It took a couple of tries, but I found an open window, and then I realized you can just open all the windows anyways, so it doesn't really matter. And then I was going through this gorgeous, just turn of the century French interior. Beautiful. And a lot of people talking. They're talking about how that art dealer is a kinky fellow in a soundproof room. And they're like, well, what he gets up to in there. And I decided to sneak in there, and he's like, oh, yeah, turn on the machine. But when I say butter muffins, you turn it off, okay? I don't want to see you get this wrong, or you'll be out on your ass.
Mm-hmm.
But he says butter muffins too early. And then he realizes I'm not a sexy lady. I'm, in fact, a Corvo. And I'm like, hey, tell me the code to the safe. And he's like, okay. I didn't realize here, I probably could have taken Emily, but I did 2 trips.
And
Johnny, are you saying that you disrespected this man's safe word? That doesn't seem like you.
But he was a jerk. What did Matt do?
I did the same thing, to be honest with you. I went and had a nice chat with the art dealer, and you don't say anything, obviously, because you can't. And he's blindfolded, so he doesn't know what's going on. So I gave him a zap, and he liked it. And I gave him another zap, and he liked it. And then he was like, butter muffins. And I gave him one more zap, and he was like, oh, I'll tell you anything. Here's the password to my safe. I said, that's nice. And then I gave him another zap, and he died.
Oh, wow.
So you don't even need butter muffins, though, or the password to the safe, because aren't you just going to go deal with those twins directly?
But I wanted the loot.
Oh, you're right. Okay.
Yeah, I got the password to the safe, and then I went and looted the safe.
But
and then I came back and stabbed the twins in their fucking brains.
What about the? Oh, so how did you get to? Did you just sort of Terminator your way? You're like, oh, sorry, you can't come in right now, and you're like, I'll be back, and then you drove your car in through the front door of the Golden Cat.
I'm sure you can do that. You can definitely just sneak in through the windows. And when it comes to the twins in their rooms, there are like back balconies that you can sneak up behind. I did kind of let myself down a little bit here because as a human being, I have a heart and I didn't want to murder the toots. I did end up murdering a few toots, but mostly I choked them out and left them on the floor.
Well, you don't even have to
either.
I just went into one lady's room and I didn't realize she'd be upset to see me, and I just left.
Yeah, sometimes if you come across a civilian, they'll sort of warn you that they're going to scream or get upset, but you can just walk away.
Yeah, you also can choke them out or kill them.
Yeah, the twins aren't together, and both of them can be in one of 2 rooms.
No, which is weird because TV has taught me that twins like to bone together, right?
They love it. Because it's like seeing themselves and being themselves at the same time.
Well, Johnny, I appreciate the fact that it is definitely more of like a female twins want to bone together.
Oh, well, yeah.
Thing that I have experienced, but I just assumed it was a regardless of gender.
If beer commercials have taught us anything, it's that twins want to get with the same guy at the same time.
You know what's fun about that whole concept is that it is incest. And why was Bud Light normalizing incest in the 90s?
It's very weird. So Custis can be in the smoking room or the gold room. Both of them are kind of normal. But interestingly, Morgan can be in the steam room. And there's a special way to kill him. If he's in the steam room, you go down to the lower level. You can find the steam valve and just increase the steam until until he steams himself.
That's a
to
real
death.
hitman way of dealing with things.
You can do this anyway, but instead of one of the twins being in there, it'll just be like a couple of guards and a worker. And you can just burn them to death for funsies because there's nothing else down
You're
there.
a monster.
Yeah.
I did at first I just went and stole the key from the Madame.
Yeah, Madame Prudence.
But I didn't realize like I hadn't fulfilled the mission quest icon. I was like, oh, you got to get that thing in front of her. I probably can't do that while she's watching, so I did have to go back and give her a little nap.
Yeah, I gave her a nap too. As much as I was against choking out Swerkers before, I did do that to some of them. Not all of them, just a few. So we can go to
Madame Prudence tells Emily that the ladies there are all princesses, and the men come to admire them.
That's funny. I missed that. That's fun.
Yeah, so we can go to Madame Prudence's office and sort of root around and find some information about where Emily is, as well as a key to a back entrance. And
It wasn't
we learned
hard
that
to figure out, though, because there is just a set of rooms that are... There's like 3 rooms in a row, and one of them is locked, and your like super secret vision shows you a little girl sitting in a corner. It's not a mystery so much.
Yeah.
This is one of those games. It's kind of like the Batman games where like they spend a lot of time like making this great looking game, and then you're like, okay, but I want to play it where everything is brown.
I honestly only started using detective mode here. Well, no, the next mission, because the next mission has like Metal Gear Solid levels.
Well,
of
if you
guards.
get the level 2 detective mode, which is always kind of one of the first things I go for, it'll also show you where all of the all the items are, all the loot, and I want that loot. I love loot. I play these games like I'm playing the game Thief, if I'm being honest with you, where I am robbing the entire area.
Oh man, the last party, I got so much money.
So
Go ahead, take it. We all do the same thing. Fuck these people.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
we
next week.
make our way to where Emily is and unlock the door, and she is a little bit trepidatious because we're wearing our scary mask, but we demask, and she's so happy to see us, and we get a big
Yay!
hug. She says that she was told that you were dead. She's very happy you're alive, and she's like, I know the way out of here. I tried to escape a whole bunch, but they caught me and took me back, but I'll show you. And she takes you down a back stairway and needs you to unlock the door, which you do. And once you do that and take her outside, she's basically like, I can get to the boat by myself. Bye.
Now, if you got Granny Rags' good side, she is waiting for you here with another rune. And she has some dialogue. She's so happy to see you. And she's like, well, you better follow along that little sparrow. You don't want her to get lost.
Yeah, Granny Rags was there for me as well. And she was more neutral. She was just like, I'm busy. I don't really care what you have going on.
I had found this area and Granny Rags' rune already.
Oh, okay. You do have to like dodge some weepers. How did Emily dodge these weepers?
Yeah, great question.
I guess she's just like small or whatever, so maybe they don't notice her.
Yeah.
Or maybe she used her commanding presence as presumptive empress of the land to tell them to just like kneel before her and walked past.
And the weepers respond to that?
Oh,
well,
sure.
I guess I didn't need to. I guess if you just swipe her key, I could have just gone to the room where Emily was, but I just didn't know where she was. So yeah, I could have done it without choking her out, because I do like the fact that you can pick people's pockets pretty easily.
Wait, you choked out Emily?
No, I choked out the madame.
What happens if you choke out Emily?
Probably the game will
can.
end. If you harm any of the good guys, basically. So I didn't. So I guess here Matt then looted the safe himself. I already brought the code to Slackjaw because I did 2 trips. I should have combined it. Obviously, it would have been.
Yeah,
smarter.
I actually had gone back and looted the safe first because I also didn't know for sure what was going to happen. So I was like, well, I better go do this because what if it doesn't let me do it later? Mm-hmm. How do you know if it's going to let you do it later?
I looted the safe, and then I brought the code to Slackjaw.
Oh, now that's some diabolical shit right there.
Wow.
And he was completely fine with that.
Well, no one had the chance to tell him what you did.
Nope, because there's no communication system. So I was just like, yeah, what's up? I got your code. Enjoy getting into that safe, which definitely is full of valuable stuff.
I like the idea of Corvo looting it, shutting it behind him, and locking it again, and and then going and giving it to Slackjaw. And when Slackjaw opens it and it's empty, it's just like, dang it. Well, that Corvo's a good guy.
Stuff in there that I didn't take, like, vases and things like that. I'm sure he'll find some value in it.
So I went back to, you take a nice little boat ride with Samuel back to the Hound's Pit. And they're like, well, no time to rest. We're not going to tell you to go to bed. Actually, you got to go out basically right again.
Yeah, no rest for the wicked. They want you to go abduct Anton Sokolov for 2 reasons.
Sokolov.
Anton's the one we saw painting a portrait at the beginning, and we learned that he's knows the identity.
He's Leonardo da Vinci.
He is.
He makes the, so if he's Da Vinci, who is Piero?
Michelangelo.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's not true. One of Da Vinci's apprentices that, let's be real, probably did a lot of the work.
So Sokolov knows the identity of the Lord Regent's mistress, and we need to find out who she is because she is sort of the purse strings. She's funding his coup. And Sokolov's also a genius, and so we think maybe we can convince him to join the resistance and get some benefit from that. So we're off. He lives in a district called Caldwin's Bridge, but we can't get very close to his house because the guards have giant floodlights off the bridge that light up the river.
He does imply that, well, he states, just outright says, oh, you probably don't even know this area because, you spent all your time in the tower.
This is definitely, I would like to hear your thoughts on this. This, to me, is the most linear level in the game.
Well, yeah,
It definitely is.
It's a straight line, and there's like a little bit of stuff to find on the left and right side of the bridge, but it is a straight ass line. It's kind of weird.
I think this is as far as I got in the game because I really didn't like this level the first time I played it.
It's not great. It's kind of the worst level in the game.
Yeah. It's so it reminds me of kind of 90s games. Like it's just you're walking through guardhouses after guardhouse. It's just a matter of like dodging guards and getting through, or
You can go around,
everybody.
but it's just basically go up and over and maybe cut through some abandoned apartments. This is a pretty
also,
boring level.
I thought it was going to be short because it looked like his house was right there and you go here. But then, and like each icon said, oh, Sokolov's house. And nope, keep going. That's not Sokolov's house yet.
I had the same experience where I was like, oh, okay, Sokolov's house, great. And then it's like, okay, North Bridge 2. And you're like, wait, what? And then it happens 4 fucking times.
Yep.
And they're all so slow and boring. I mean, it's a little more fun when you're intentionally killing every motherfucker you can find. But
well, at least you had plenty of rat time. I found a bone charm that extends rat time.
Oh, that's great. That was your
Oh,
dream.
extend your swarm of rats that devours guards. I love that. That's so fun.
There's a bunch of different puzzles you can do. I feel like I missed like 3/4 of things in this level because there's a lot of stuff to the sides. Like there's a lot of houses I did. I kind of just went. I took the little choo-choo train across the first part of the bridge, and then I climbed up all the way to the tippy top. I got an achievement. That was a super rare Xbox achievement for climbing to the tippy top. Vanessa, did you go back and get that achievement?
I haven't. No, I don't think I've ever gotten that achievement. I've never gone tippy top route. So yeah, we get here. We hear announcements that the city is under curfew. So we really aren't supposed to be out sneaking around, but we are. As Johnny indicated, there's a way to sort of do a little mini puzzle to power up a little cart that we can ride part of the way across the bridge. And again, like the houses on the sides, they have bone charms, they have runes. It's kind of worth poking around. Yes, Matt?
I do like the little puzzles in this game that are basically like go find a battery and plug it in somewhere, but it's usually a little more complicated than that. They're like, I think they're fun. They're not. It's not necessarily like super smart puzzles, but they're super like understandable to the real world puzzles of like just go plug this fucking go find a fucking battery.
The elevated minecart felt very silly and fun because you're just kind of like crouching in it as you go over a million guards.
And you're like, they can't see me.
They can't see me here.
And then you circle back and kill them all because you want to see everybody die.
You do Matt. So do you like sit and listen to their backstories before you kill them?
Well, you can also like if two of them are having a conversation, usually it'll give you a mission clue.
Right.
And also, if you use your little eyepiece to zoom in on them, you can hear them better.
Yeah. And you could use a grenade to then take both of them out at the same time if you want.
I had so much fucking fun with the grenades. In fact, this is the level where I even took a screenshot of it. I summoned a rat swarm, and about 6 guards all rushed in to one of those little guard tower things. And so then I sat there and cooked a grenade and just tossed it in and killed them all in one shot. And it was fucking hilarious. It was so funny. And then when I went inside, it was just body parts, like heads and arms and legs. God, it was funny. Honestly, I've said several times now that this is one of my favorite games of all time. So obviously I very much enjoyed the way that I played it, which was always low chaos, low contact. This high chaos run was so fucking fun. Just was a monster. It was delightful. Because if you summon a rat swarm on one guy and there are other guards around, they'll all come rushing over to try to kill the rats and save their friends. Oh, and that's when you kill them all. Them.
Oh, no. You can come across a guard who's talking to an aristocratic gentleman who's complaining about the lockdowns. And he has a pretty neat house. It's big and empty. He's the only one in there. So it's pretty easy to sneak in there and, choke him out or something like that. And you can find his special diary that gives a clue to his safe. And you have to wander around the house and look at his paintings on the wall, 3 of which have numbers in them, and put them in the right order to open his safe.
Oh.
So that's fun. Johnny is staring at me like he has never heard of this before. Never saw this little man, never visited his house.
I didn't do this part. I did find this was the first, what's his name? Outsider. I found my first outsider shrine here. And
I feel like they aren't in every level. So I don't know that you may have missed like one, but it's just like a chit chat with the outsider.
Yeah, so you like have a little. He just sort of takes you aside and sort of tells you about Sokolov being just pretty much a monster.
Yeah, Sokolov is obsessed with like making contact with the outsider and performs. I don't remember exactly what he says, but it basically sounds like he's murdering babies and raping women. Like it's bad.
Yeah.
But the outsider doesn't care. He's like, that guy's boring. And I think the gist, I don't know that this is text to the game. This may have just been something that Chris said to me. Chris Sasaki, shout out. This may have just been something that Chris said to me, but the idea here is that Sokolov, whether or not he like met the outsider, gained powers from the outsider, like he would be doing the same thing either way. He's boring. Like he's just going to do what he's going to do. Whereas Dowd or Corvo gets powers and suddenly everything goes nuts.
The outsider's motivations are pretty unknowable. But yeah, he doesn't, the Abbey of the Everyman, which is the church in this game, definitely talks about the outsider like he's the devil.
Yeah, he's the devil.
Yeah.
And
which is weird,
doesn't-
kind of. I mean, that's as a from the perspective
Is
of
he a
somebody
trickster or a devil?
I mean, from the perspective of somebody that's played this and the sequel and the DLCs, like kind of none of that, which is why it's so weird that
interesting.
he's like Satan. Though I feel like a lot of that stuff wasn't written at this point. So at this point, they're just kind of like, yeah, it's the devil, right? But it's kind of weird in context. I can't wait until we inevitably play Dishonored 2 on this show and Death of the Outsider, because they're fucking great.
They are great. So we continue on. We get to the start of the bridge itself. There's a couple of no good nicks here, and they're talking about their pal who's been arrested for poaching pearls. And if you stand and listen to their conversation, they talk about how they're kind of going to rush the bridge and take out the guards. And this is where we see our first arc pylon that just zaps them right apart when they try to do that.
The arc pylons are fucking awesome. Also, occasionally
I do like
annoying.
that they do have like big old power cords. So you can just kind of follow their big old power cords to their whale oil segment or their fuse box where you can rewire them with fun.
Mm-hmm. But that
Yeah,
would
sometimes
be wrong, because then it would kill someone.
Sometimes the control panel is so located so close to the arc pylon that it's really hard to rewire it without getting spotted by it. Like I had one here where I had to like use the lean function, which I don't know if we mentioned it last time, but this game has this great lean function where if you hold Y, you can lean right or left, and then even
Just
if
like PUBG.
it allows you to peek and not be seen. Like they cannot see you if you're leaning, which is funny to me.
really?
Because yes,
That's cool.
it's really, and even the arc pylon can't see you if you're leaning, which is funny because a lot of the times, just from my perspective, it felt like I was leaning all the fucking way out. Like my whole body was extended out from the corner, but they just couldn't see me somehow. It's really silly.
So we sort of make our way across the bridge. We have to get to the center and climb the main tower to depower these floodlights, which is just a matter of removing the battery.
Yeah. And fortunately, while there are some guards walking around there, they aren't they tend to be walking alone and really like put their back, like will lean over a balcony and just be sort of whistling and kind of lost in thought. And you can give them that fun hug and just give them a little nap.
Yeah, that fun hug
They're
where you
very
stab them right in the
diligent.
fucking face.
So I looked up men hugging, and while I recognized they were the guys from Brokeback Mountain, I didn't realize they were not hugging in the GIF that I put into the group chat.
No, I was just teasing you. They are hugging in that GIF. I was just referring to stuff that happened later in that film.
I haven't seen that film.
I know. Well, at first I was surprised to hear it, and then I thought, no, that's just stereotypical of me. Not every gay man has seen Brokeback Mountain.
No, that seemed like a gay movie for straight people.
I think
Yeah,
it
I've
was.
seen it. But I like cowboys. And then when they spit and jerk each other, never mind.
Spit does not make good lube. It's true.
Hawktaw. So,
All right.
both
So
grossed out by
I
the
climb all
context
way
of
to
the comment and because of the meta context of that whole.
I did make it all the way to the tippy top of the bridge because there's less people out there, and got that special Chivo. And you know I love a Chivo. Jim and I are both Chivo fiends, so he probably got it too.
I sort of went on the middle of the bridge. There's some scaffolding that you can work your way across.
Mm-hmm.
And presumably you can also go under the bridge, but I didn't try that.
That's where I drew some blood.
You know what you can do is you can kill everybody and then just walk across the bridge.
Oh yeah, that's true. Mm-hmm. I do wish this game had more pushing, like to do Hitman style, like a little nudge.
Yeah, all those people leaning around.
Yep.
Yeah, that would be fun. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you like shoot somebody in the back with a crossbow bolt while they're leaning, they will like fly over the edge of the railing.
Yeah,
but it's also
and
like
if
really
you shoot them with a tranq dart and they are in a precarious position, they may die too.
It's true.
Yes, we
True,
learned
so
that
you gotta
last
be
week.
careful.
Yeah.
In the last sort of guardhouse along this bridge, you can find an imprisoned man. This is the Pearl Poacher that was mentioned before. And he will encourage you to let him out and tell you that he'll split his loot with you if you do.
Mm-hmm.
So I missed this guy, but I did find that the plugs for the wall to get into Sokolov's house, although once again, not Sokolov's house, more Sokolov's neighborhood.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, as soon as I unplugged it, the guard saw me, and I moved back to run away and did fall in the water. And I had to swim to the only low enough point where I could get out of the water. And then just got shot by 50 different clams.
Was it the river crusts with
yeah.
the fucking acid? God, these are annoying. They're
this
so
is sort
annoying.
Of part of the prisoner thing. So if you let him out, first you have to sort of make sure the guards are taken care of before you let him out, because they will attack him and kill him. But he'll lead you down to where those river crusts are, and he kind of hides behind a box, and he's like, I hate river crusts. They spit acid at you. You have to kill them, or I won't go any further. So
they do suck. It's the closest I've come to dying in this game, because they really tear you apart.
They hit hard, and you can't always kill them. You have to attack them when their mouths are open, like they're a Quiet Place monster. So, you have to be a certain distance away from them, or they won't open it up. You can't just rush at them with the sword.
Yeah, if you hit them with the sword, it does nothing, which is obnoxious. This thing has a stalk that it's sitting on. I can't just cut that off and knock it into the river. It's dumb.
It's too tough. It's got a crusty shell.
I had a good time doing this Pearl quest thing, because you continue leading him along, and eventually he hits a gate. And he's like, well, you better go find the gate key. And I wasn't sure what that was. So I went and searched around and eventually found his stash of river pearls. And I stole them.
Yeah, if you find the gate key, which is on a guard, and open the gate for him, he'll go into this back alley. He wanders up to the sink and turns a faucet. And he goes, there aren't really any trustworthy people anymore. And then he turns around and tries to kill you. And his friends come and try to kill you too.
I did this, but I had already killed his friends.
Yes, if you're sneaky, you can find his friends first. And there's a note in there that says, here are the pearls. If you come along and there's trouble, just turn the faucet for a signal. I hadn't killed them, but I had
it's not. I'm sorry.
out.
I don't mean to interrupt. It's not. I do mean to interrupt, but I'm sorry to interrupt. It's not turn the faucet. It's speak into the faucet, which is pretty funny because you do see his little character model like lean his head over and go like, "Meow, meow, meow, meow," and
Yeah.
this faucet.
Hello. That's the secret communication system we've been looking for. It's not a whale oil microphone. It's faucet phone.
Which is
Matt,
basically
is it
just
like
two
the
tin
weird
cans.
shot? Is it like the weird shot where Jeff Goldblum whispers his password to the computer in The Fly?
Yeah, it
Or is this
very
like-
much is. Which also is really weird. Why does he have a voice-activated computer? It's
Well,
the
would you rather
80s.
watch him type?
The 70s?
Although he does, sometimes he does type it. Sometimes like when he's asking about, is it like what happened to the fly? He doesn't ask; he types that. I don't know.
So
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
we are talking about the movie The
again.
Fly, starring Jeff Goldblum, which Johnny and I both watched like yesterday. Except Johnny didn't watch the last 20 minutes for some reason, so I don't know.
I will.
That was
So
going to
I
be my
had
level
no-
up, but I guess I can't talk about it.
3 times in a row.
Speak
Matt,
up if you want to be
Shut
heard.
up. Nah.
How dare you, Johnny? Accuse me of interrupting. She said, she's not talking anymore. Okay, I guess we're just doing silent podcast now.
Let's all stare at each other.
Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. Fool me 3 times. Zip it. Lock it. No more talk it.
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame. Let's invade Iraq.
Oh, wow. So yes, I knocked these guys out, and then I knocked out this guy before he could turn around and surprise me. And then it was a good sleepy time for everyone. Finally, we get to move on to the last section, which actually does contain Sokolov's house.
Yeah, it
But-
does.
We don't just stroll into his house. First, we have to wander the streets some more. There are some people being held here by guards in sort of a wall of light cage, and the guards talk about how they're Sokolov's test subjects.
Yeah, this is fucked up.
Compare them to cattle. And they're like, don't feel bad for them. You don't feel bad for the pig when it goes to the slaughterhouse.
These are the same people that are taking sick people and throwing them in the sewers, so I'm not shocked by their
Yeah.
callousness.
I never found this cage.
It's right there. How could you possibly miss it? Like, it's right on the street.
I
guess if
I
you're
took I was
Popping around
up in the
roofs or
air.
something?
Yeah, I took the rooftop way.
Mhm.
Can you let
Uh,
these people out?
You can. Again, you have to sort of take care of the guards first, and if you let them out, they're sort of in this half-collapsed building, and one of them will say, I used to work here. If you go up to the 3rd floor, behind a painting, there's a safe, and here's the code. So you can go open up a safe.
Ooh, I also found a painting that was like a special painting, and I guess like there seems to be a tracker of these weird painting. Are they Sokolov's paintings that you can
They
find?
are, yeah. You can collect Sokolov's paintings as you wander around for some extra coin, I guess, or just collectible fun.
Yeah, I like collecting stuff. Some games I get annoyed. I feel like if the collecting stuff is interesting and these paintings are cool looking, I like it. But if the collecting stuff is just like get 40 doodads, then
Right.
I'm not that interested most of the time.
I like the paintings, and they're all of sort of the prominent people in this world who we're interacting with, so that's fun.
Yeah, I just took. There were just random weepers in some of the apartments here. And so there's a lot of sideways you can go and like chains you can get on. Like I basically once I got through that door, never touched the street again.
Nice.
Like once I got through
One thing,
and so to
One thing
Sokolov's place.
one thing I really enjoyed is that the people that you rescue from the little wall of light pen will tell you this. It's so weirdly phrased. They're like, "There's an abandoned apartment around here that's," or like a what do they call it? Like a half destroyed apartment around here with a safe. And I used to work there, and here's the code. Where is that safe, Vanessa?
It's directly above your head.
The way it was phrased was so weird, where they're like, well, go find this abandoned, destroyed apartment. And it literally is 10 fucking feet above their heads.
Yeah, they don't just point at it and be like, it's there.
Yeah.
And it's not even hit like behind a door or something because the wall's been blown down. Like it's in the same building.
You
that
can
they
teleport
are being held
directly from where you're standing to the safe. It's right above you. It really fucked me up. I went and looked for it for a few minutes, and finally my, my detective vision, I spotted the safe and was like, you idiots. What's
I've
wrong
been through a
with you?
traumatic experience. They're
That is,
very
we recorded the
confused.
voice lines before we designed the level, basically.
Yeah. So then we can finally go to Sokolov's house, which is sort of like a big greenhouse, but with no plants inside it. So Johnny, you said that you got into it over the rooftops?
Yeah, there's a chain hanging off right by the tippy top of that Sokolov's house. And you can jump onto that, make a long leap and jump onto that chain and climb all the way up. There is one guard you have to take care of, but he again does a lot of leaning. Not super attentive. But I mean, honestly, if I was a guard, I'd probably be the same way. I'd do my rounds.
So boring though.
Yeah.
It's like
I'd probably take
I
up
did the
smoking
same thing,
again,
and
which
it's
is
kind of
a good thing.
I did the same thing, and it's kind of weird because you basically can go straight to Sokolov. Like, what's stopping you?
That's what I did. Why wouldn't I?
Well, I didn't, because I got up there and was like, oh, there's Sokolov. There's a lot of boys below that probably need to die. And also a lot of loot to loot. So I spotted Sokolov and then went back down and cleared his whole house out of human life.
I did the same thing, but I gave them sleepy time hugs. I especially wanted to go down there because there is a painting down there of your next target, Lady Boyle, the mistress. But as Sokolov himself will tell you later, he painted her from behind.
That's so fucking insulting to this poor woman. Like, we're gonna have Leonardo da Vinci paint your portrait, but only your big ol' ass. Like, that's all we care about is your big, chunky, delicious booty. Like, otherwise, turn away from the painter, the camera.
Yeah. She's not even like peeking over her shoulder or anything.
It's
just
weird.
It's very weird. But Sokolov's a weird dude.
It doesn't feel like it was Sokolov's decision.
Yeah.
Just, maybe I'm wrong, but from the context of what he says, he's like, all I saw was her butt. It didn't sound like
he said it was distinctive. He said he liked it.
Well, he said that it was like the best butt in the world, which, by the way, spoiler for next week, just another fucking female model in this game. Absolutely no female. Sorry. Absolutely nothing about this.
Well, when she's in her dress, she's got like a bustle and everything. It's not
She
like
doesn't wear a dress. She wears pants. Nobody in this world wears a dress. There are no skirts or dresses in Dishonored universe.
Oh, well, that, at least everyone has pockets.
Wait, really?
Yeah, really.
Do you think that's an intentional decision by the designers to be like, women don't have to wear dresses in our universe? They only wear pants?
I think it was probably it's easier to model pants, and then once they had sort of gone with it, they're like, yeah, everyone wears pants. That's the world.
Sokolov invented pants out of whale oil.
But then they'd be very flammable.
Yeah. For me, Sokolov was at the very tippy top of his house in a little greenhouse up there. He did have a lady there that he was keeping prisoner that I let out.
Yeah, I don't know if we should have done that.
Yeah, because she sort of indicated that maybe he'd given her the plague.
Well, he definitely has. Like,
But she'll be
if you
fine.
read his notes and listen to his audio log, she's super sick.
Yeah, but doesn't that mean that we keep her in a cage? That's not how we treat sick people.
Vanessa, what do you think quarantine was? It
Oh,
was the
wow.
gummy mint sticking us in cages.
I'm sorry, the gummy
Wow.
mint?
The gummy
Yeah.
mint. So we are not allowed to kill Sokolov. We have to knock him out. I used a tranq dart. Did you guys talk to him or anything before you knocked him out?
Oh, yeah. If you go talk to him, he's like, oh, what are you doing here? I guess I can give you money or wealth. Are you coming to kill me? Let's not be hasty. There's like, you can talk to him for a while. Several
And then,
times.
how do you knock him out after you talk to him? Does he try to run away?
Shoot him in the
or-
face with a tranq dart.
Oh, okay.
I just choked him out. It was a real bummer. I wanted to stab him.
Sorry, Nat. And
What
once
happens
you've
if
knocked
you
him
stab
out,
him?
I assume
Is
it's
it
just
game
a
over?
game over. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't try. I was not willing to risk it at this point. I'm disappointed that we're not going to talk about what happens when we get him home, because that's fun.
We'll talk about it next week.
Yeah, we'll talk about it next week.
Once we knock him out, we can take him to where Samuel has moved the boat closer to his house since we shut the lights out. And
Turn out the
we
lights.
ferry ourselves off towards the Hound's Pit pub. That's the end of this week's Chunker. Next
It was
week,
a nice sunset boat ride. It was pretty.
With their best
Next week we'll
friend,
play-
Samuel, by the way. We don't talk about Samuel enough. Like, he's our good friend. He always offers us advice and companionship.
he is humble. He talks about how he used to serve with the Admiral, but doesn't think that he'd remember him. He's just sort of a lifelong sailor guy.
How did he even get caught up in these schemes of the nobles, is my question.
I don't know. He was just around. We didn't really talk about returning Emily to the Hound's Pit.
Oh, yeah.
She's pretty happy to be there. She meets up with Callista, who's going to be her sort of nanny / tutor and look after her. And they give Emily a special room in her own little tower that is sort
Which-
of accessible from Corvo's room. if you
Yeah, I
know
was going to
things
say,
like-
they conveniently built like a little walkway, which is the only way up there, basically, between Corvo's room and Emily's room. Like, they
Yeah.
planned ahead. It is, I'm glad you brought that up. It's nice when you bring Emily back. It feels like kind of the big feel good point of the game, where you saved Emily and you've got her tucked away and she's drawing little pictures in her room. And those do change contextually based on how many murders you've done.
Oh, I know. And
Mine definitely reveals a plot point, but we'll talk about that next time.
Yeah.
Is it me and Daddy?
Yes.
And you can sort of talk to Callista about her, and Callista says, sometimes she wants to play with dolls and draw like a little kid, and other times she'll sort of switch into being really regal and serious, and, so she's developing into a leader. But she's still a little girl. And there's also, if you go and peek in her room, I overheard a pretty sad conversation where she's talking to Callista and she's like, well, everyone said Corvo was dead and he wasn't, so do you think there's a chance that my mom isn't dead?
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, oh,
Yeah,
Emily.
It's sad. They're also there's an audiograph in her room, and they are audiographs from Callista, and they are very they're very touching. Like, Callista very clearly cares about this kid, not maybe on a super personal level, but just as this is my duty, and this kid has suffered trauma, and I'm doing my best. And there are some cute ones, maybe later in the game, but there are some cute ones where Callista's like, oh, Emily asked me, what it would be like when I'm restored to the throne. And I started referring to her as the little empress, and she seems to like that. And like, it really humanizes a big chunk of the, you're not going up there. It really humanizes a big chunk of the story in a great way.
Mm-hmm.
It really speaks to the writing of this game, which is a lot of which is just like dark shit happening and Corvo not saying anything, but they're able to jam in these moments that really shine.
Mm-hmm. And I think that they did a great job. I mean, when you're writing a kid, it's so easy to make them obnoxious or not seem realistic, but I think Emily is just genuinely likable. Like, she's a likable kid, and you get why Corvo wants to protect her.
I wish that there was like a set of, well, I guess I could just tell you which 30 Rock episodes to watch, because her character, like, she's such a good actress. I don't know, she's still doing stuff acting wise. And in 30 Rock, her character is the most fun part of the show, or one of the most fun characters, I think, in the show. Would you agree, Matt?
30 Rock, but I can't remember her at all in it.
Oh, I thought it'd be too silly for you.
No, I like it.
Okay. Yeah, she's the little kid who it turns out to be Jack's rival to become CEO of Cabletown.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
I think Will Arnett also plays a big part in her story later on.
Yes.
Yeah, it looks like she's still acting regularly in many different things.
That's good. Hopefully she didn't have to.
Voice work,
Yeah.
and she does face work.
Good. Excellent. All right. Well, Vanessa, what chunkies are we doing next time?
Next time we'll do Lady Boyle's Last Party and Return to the Tower. I think before I'd suggested we could do the main game in 3, but we're going to do it in 4 instead.
That's fine.
I think 4 is totally fine.
That just, hey, no.
Hey, yes, we're doing it in 4.
I'm talking to my cat, who was clearly wanting to jump on top of my dresser and make a whole mess. Get down. Excuse me.
So, now that we're done with this week's quest log, Johnny, why don't you tell us what you are squarely against?
All right. I'm squarely against when the game becomes too much of a 90s stealth game, which doesn't seem too often. Like, it's not like you're in just like military base full of patrolling guards on patrol and you have to figure out how to like sneak in between.
I agree with what you're saying. I just want to say, I think this is the one level that's like that.
Yeah.
Maybe in the DLC a bit, but this one is really the one where it's just, I haven't coined the term, but to me, it's a corridor shooter, basically. Like, you're just going down a corridor, and that's fucking it.
It's generally why I don't love the Metal Gear games as much as a lot of people do, is that I find that particular gameplay loop isn't my favorite. But at least it does give you other things you can do, although I do wish you could push people off of buildings without it affecting the story.
I mean, let's get Jim on Twitter and make him harass the developers of this game until they're willing to do an interview with us, just so that we can suggest this for their next game.
What about you, Matt? What are you squarely against?
Oh boy. I hadn't thought about it. Okay. I'm rallying for my high chaos run. I have played this game so many times, and I always am going for the low chaos run. That's just how I play the game. That's how I enjoy it. I've enjoyed it so much, obviously. I don't think I've ever really intentionally gone for the high chaos run before, and the chaos you can cause is legitimately fucking delightful. I mentioned a couple of things: the Arc Pylon murdering dozens of guards, the blowing up a room full of guards, that stuff is really fucking fun. It's borderline silly. It's just what a good time. Like I'm glad I I'm glad I played it the other way this time, and got to experience it because it didn't exactly reinvent the game for me, but it certainly made it more fun to play through another time. Because I did, as I said last week, I did just play this game 2 years ago for like the third time. What about you, Vanessa? What are you squarely against?
I'm squarely against the Weepers. I don't like them.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't really touch on it, but I sort of find them unnecessary to this world because they are a weird kind of zombie variant on a human enemy.
Do you think the Weepers are to this game what the Bloodflies are to the next game?
Yes, I do. They're just kind of, I understand they're trying to add variety to the kind of enemies that you face, but I actually don't feel like this game needs that variety. I think it's more about exploration and finding alternate routes and solutions than it is the, now you're going to go up against the Weeper. No, now you're against a Bloodfly. Oh no, it's a dog. It's a overseer with a music box, and now you can't use your powers. Maybe if I was playing in a high chaos way, it would be more interesting to have like different kinds of things to battle, but I'm not.
It does not, because you don't battle them. It's just more things to sneak up behind and kill.
But nevertheless, I still enjoyed this chunker.
Yeah, the Golden Cat is fun, right? Like I would say this is maybe the weakest section of the game, which is weird to jam in at the beginning of the game. But at least the Golden Cat is pretty fucking fun.
It is. It looks good. It does have the sort of alternate routes to explore. And I think the first time, or maybe even couple of times I played this, there were parts of the Golden Cat that I just never went into, like the big atrium area and things like that. So there's a lot to see in what are not necessarily geographically large levels, but they're really jam-packed with lots of little things. Johnny, before we move on to the end of the episode, I think it's time that we level up.
Ooh. How did I level up? Is that what you're asking me?
That's what I want to know, and I have a sneaking suspicion it might have something to do with a bridge.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I did. I went to a bridge in this game, and then in real life, I went to Alexandra Bridge, which is an old 19th century bridge built to cross the Fraser River at one of the narrowest points. This is before, there wasn't enough money to make, huge spanning bridges like there was in Montreal or New York at the time. So they found the narrowest part, which is in this Fraser Canyon, sort of north of Hope in British Columbia, as they started to colonize it. This was actually a salmon spawning ground, and the railroad and the traffic bridge that they built actually disrupted a lot of indigenous fisher people. But this area, so this used to be part of the first real interprovincial highway they built in British Columbia. And at first it was for horse traffic and then also became for car traffic. And they rebuilt it in 1926 to be more appropriate for trucks and cars.
I think you mean sworker traffic.
Oh, sorry. Yes. What?
Horse traffic.
Oh.
Both of their eyes just rolled up so far in the back of their heads that they may have done damage. Ugh.
So it was about a 4-hour drive, something like that. 3 or 4
Across the
hours.
bridge?
Well, but we took a
Wow.
lot of, Well, no. This bridge there's actually a newer highway that was built in the 50s that replaced this with a bigger bridge and bigger road. So this is actually completely out. There's still a provincial park, but this bridge is no longer maintained. You technically have to cross some private property to get to the bridge, even though it's in a provincial park named after it. Like, you have to walk across some train tracks that you're not supposed. There's big signs saying not to cross it, but also like that's where the path goes. Like,
Yeah,
it's really weird. It's a mix. The park's giving you real mixed signals here.
So basically, what you're saying is you went to Silent Hill.
Yeah, it, like the rolling fog, like moving quickly there, and I mean, Vanessa knows this part of the world's topography and fog and all that, and it's stunning. And I'm glad the rain kind of let off because before on the way there it was pouring, just like absolute downpour. But by the time I got to the bridge, it wasn't raining at all. It was just beautiful fog and man, going over the river, and the river was, one of the listeners was saying how it looked like a nightmare with because it's a grate. They built the road part out of steel. So if you look under you, you can just see down like 100 feet to the water below. And it is, but I think this kind of stuff is my jam. I love old abandoned infrastructure and just how it's just quietly sitting there. And in the history of it is really interesting, even if it, there's, like all colonial history, good and bad to it, for sure.
As opposed to loudly sitting there, which I guess would be just, it's screaming.
Well, it's not in use, and it's just kind of like all this money and talent and time built into a bridge that's now just kind of decaying, I think is really interesting. But also that it's both decaying and sitting there unused for 75 years, but it's still in pretty good shape. Like, it doesn't look like
it's very cool.
Yeah, it was really neat. And it was just a fun drive through the mountains and all that. Although trucks will get really mad at you if you do not drive fast enough on the 2-lane highway to get there.
Oh, but you have a little electric car. It won't even go that fast. It just...
Well, I was just looking for a turnoff. There's another place called Hell's Gate just up the road. And I was looking for the turnoff to get there. And so and then the truck just came behind me and just started flashing its lights at me because I wasn't going fast enough. It's like,
wow,
all right, buddy. And like,
learn how to drive.
100 feet ahead of me was the 2-lane part where they could have easily overtaken me if they waited 30 seconds.
Learn how to drive.
Sorry, truck. Anyway, my little electric car can go pretty fast, Vanessa. It's actually very easy to speed because unlike in a combustion engine, you can't hear the engine, like what speed it's going. Like you can sort of know how fast you're going from the sound of your engine a lot of the time. Anyway, I did that. I also tried Phasmophobia in VR for like 20 minutes. Vanessa came along to help out. Because she saw
because I saw how scared you were getting by yourself.
Yeah, I'm not good. And in VR, you're like, I don't want to, your brain just goes into full, I do not want to be here mode. Mm-hmm. Which is my problem with scary stuff in VR is like, my brain is just saying, no. Mm-hmm.
I think it helped when I came and played with you, but then it crashed pretty shortly.
Yeah, my computer's been having some crashy issues lately. I think I might need either like a new motherboard or a new power source, but it's so hard to tell. That's the downside with PC gaming. Mm-hmm. And if you look it up, if you Google it, it's just people telling you you're an idiot.
Yeah.
No matter what. So yeah, that's pretty much how I leveled up. I've been watching, and I guess this will lead into Matt. I've been watching The Fly, but I haven't finished it. But I'll finish it in tonight for sure. But Matt, I know how it ends. It's fine if you want to spoil it.
Yeah.
Matt, how did you level up?
Well, I've continued my October run of watching just a fuck ton of horror movies, like so many horror movies. I did watch The Fly, I guess it's the remake of The Fly, the 80s
Yeah.
Jeff Goldblum Fly. I had never seen it. I had always heard that it was disgusting. It is. It's gross.
At least so far, it's not that
Well,
bad.
it's fine because I mean the worst.
The monkey part was gross.
Well, if you've only got 20 minutes left, you've seen the part where he's just taking his fingernails off, which is probably the grossest part.
Oh
of the
yeah,
movie.
that was nasty. Oh, and teeth.
It is gross, but I had never seen it, and it really is just a really well done movie. Like, it's riveting. Probably the best fucking movie I've watched this October. But I also have torn through a lot of stuff like The Omen. And by The Omen, I mean the entire trilogy and the first Omen, which weird ending. And boy, it's tough. In the Mouth of Madness, another Sam Neill movie. Sam Neill is in The Omen 3. It's maybe one of his earliest movies. He's so
Is
young.
that his second what do you call that? Cosmic horror movie? Because he's got that and Event Horizon, right?
Yeah, I don't know what order they came. I would call The Omen 3 cosmic horror as well. So clearly
really?
that was. I mean, this is the guy that was in Jurassic Park, so he's been in a ton of stuff, but he does seem to lean into that. I've been enjoying my runs through horror movies. It's almost too much to try to discuss movie by movie, to be honest with you, but it's been fun. You know, October, turn on your horror movies. Let them go. Let them roll.
What's the worst horror film you've seen this month?
Boy, that's tough. Because I've watched some stinkers. The Discord and Jim were recommending that I watch a movie called Monolith, which they were all like, oh, it's this great cosmic horror eldritch movie, and was really just fucking boring. It was a woman in her home podcasting, and that was the whole movie, and it was not good.
Sounds
I've
like
been
my
told-
life.
I told my coworker, she recommended that I watch The Substance, and she's like, yeah, it's a lot like The Fly and Society. I was like, oh, well, I should watch those too before I see The Substance. Because I haven't seen either of those. I saw The Fly when I was a little kid, but I was way too young for it.
Yeah.
Way too young. And The Fly, Jeff Goldblum's performance is like, I think he was instructed not to blink.
Yeah, I think so. He's fantastic. Like and Gina Davis is also fantastic. It's one of those movies it's like it's an 80s movie, and so like none of the human interactions make sense in the modern day, really. Like just a lot of weird stuff. Like that The Fly starts with them meeting at a event for like scientists and journalists, and him explicitly being like, I've got the story of the century for you. And then he invites her back to his lab and shows her, and she's like, cool, pulls out her tape recorder. She's like, let's talk about it. And he's like, whoa, no, I thought this was personal, not a story. Like, what are you talking about, dude? Are you out of your fucking mind? Like, that's not even like weird non-modern sexual relationships. Like, that's just straight up gaslighting this broad. Like, it was weird. But he is fucking fantastic. It's gross. It's such a gross movie. Anyway, and then I guess my other level up is after I tore through Dishonored and the DLCs, which we're covering on the podcast, and I have been playing Metaphor Refantasio. Refantasio, I don't know. It's fun. It's weird. It's a weird game in that it's like so similar to Persona, and there are so many little choices that you can be like, why would you do this? Because it's too similar to Persona, but it's so fucking fun, and there's so many quality of life improvements over any of the Persona games that it is blowing my mind. I'm 4 hours into it. I'm not far into it. I did intentionally zip through Dishonored just so that I could spend the next month playing this game and not needing to play a podcast game on top of it. And it's really fascinating. Like it's got this interesting setting of like it's got a very fantasy-esque setting, but there's a lot of little touches. Like your main character has a book that he calls a fantasy novel that is very much just like a mundane story set in the real world. And then all of the big crazy monsters that you have to fight are called humans, and they're all terrified of the humans, which I really like because it's like we just played Tactics Ogre, and we got to the end of that game, and we fought this big monster, and they were like, "You're an ogre," and we all in that last episode were like, it was just like a big demon with wings or something. Like, why is this an ogre? And this feels like the opposite of that, where they're just like, yep, all the big monsters are called humans. Like, it's weird, but it's interesting. And I hope that the story does something with that. I don't know that it will. We'll see what happens, but it's really fun so far. And yep, that is what is eating up my time right now. And that's how I leveled up. What about you, Vanessa?
I saw a play. I saw a play version of the movie Clue. Did I talk about this on the show before?
I don't
No.
think you talked about it to us at all. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I saw a play version of the movie Clue.
What?
Yeah,
Did they do all the endings? Because that would be amazing.
they sure did.
What?
It was...
I thought they were supposed to do a different one every time.
Nope, they did all three. It was essentially a kind of one-for-one production of the film. The film is one of my favorite movies, I think, to the point where I sort of did myself a disservice because it's not much of a whodunit when you know kind of every beat so perfectly.
Can I just say, I don't remember if I mentioned this on the show, so I just want to say for the show, I know I told you, but I just watched that movie with my kids recently, and they fucking loved it. They loved it. They thought it was amazing. And it is amazing. It's fucking fantastic.
It's a fantastic movie. The set was great. It sort of mostly was the hall and then had little rooms that would like pop out from either side of the stage to represent the rooms. And the guy who played the butler role, the Tim Curry role, essentially, was fantastic. A really physical performance. The guy who did Mr. Green did a really physical performance as well. And I think that they did a pretty good job of capturing the characters without totally doing like, oh, I'm doing a Madeline Kahn impression, or I'm doing a Christopher Lloyd impression, or whatever it might be. And it was fun. So I think it tours basically all over the country. So look for Clue the Play coming soon to a town near you, potentially. I don't know where you live. And I've also been watching Slow Horses, which is another thing I can't remember if I've talked about on the show.
No,
That's the,
I saw
Edward
the first
Norton,
season.
No.
Yeah.
It's nothing
Gary
to do
Oldman?
with Edward
Gary
Norton.
Oldman.
Gary Oldman, yep. It's the Gary Oldman Apple Plus series. I think it's in its third season now. And it's a British show about essentially sort of like second tier MI6 agents. I'm sure I've talked about this on the show. Well, talk about it again. So they're kind of people who have messed up assignments or just aren't very good at their jobs, and they're sent to this particular division to kind of twiddle their thumbs and maybe earn their way back into like an actual job, but otherwise just kind of sit around.
Right. It's kind of where they send the ones they can't fire, but have for whatever reason got on the wrong side.
The rejects.
The leaders.
Yeah, the rejects. And the first season deals with a kidnapping that is sort of politically and racially motivated, and how these reject people find themselves involved in this big national case, and what they do about it. And Gary Oldman plays kind of the boss of these people, and it's a pretty great role for him because he's just awful and contemptuous. Like, he hates all of them, and he makes that really clear, and he's kind of just this disgusting man who drinks and eats like a slob, and nobody really likes him. But does have
so it's about me.
It's about Matt.
Aww.
And the sort of other lead in it, and I don't remember his name, so this is everyone's favorite part of the show where I Google some actor. Jack Loudon is the sort of other guy in it, and he was in Dunkirk. He's been in a few films and television, but I think he sort of was primarily a stage guy. But what's really interesting about Jack Loudon, and I'm sure he would love me saying this, is not his career.
Taskmaster.
Or he's not in Taskmaster.
He's a
He
Taskmaster of the
is-
video game.
He is married to Saoirse Ronan, who is a prominent actress.
In
Everything, Matt. She's in everything.
Task.
She was in.
Just say it. Stop playing games.
She's not in Taskmaster. They have nothing to do with Taskmaster.
I'm so used to your
Saoirse
level ups
Ronan-
being about Taskmaster.
It's not about Taskmaster. I mean, it could be. If you want it to be about Taskmaster, I can make it about Taskmaster.
When is the Jason Mantzoukas season of Taskmaster coming out? Because I want to watch it.
First of all,
Wow, spoilers.
No.
spoilers.
I know,
I
I'm
cannot
joking.
spoil spoilers.
I agree. That is not a spoiler, but
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh,
is my
okay.
response to that.
I made it up. I'm crazy.
Yep. I do have some Taskmaster news since you're so interested.
Nope, pass. Patreon.
Taskmaster Junior should premiere
no.
in November. Yeah, it's
no, thank you.
I understand.
Wait, why are you so mad about this?
Because he hates seeing children do things.
He hates
Yeah.
children.
I don't love them.
Taskmaster Jr. will feature Rose Matafeo as the Taskmaster and Mike Wozniak as the Taskmaster's assistant, and have children's doing tasks. We're all very skeptical, we're all very scared. We don't like to see children, we don't like to see them do things, and we
I like to
don't
see
like
children.
to-
I like to see them
Oh.
do things.
Oh, Matt. Cut that out. So...
What? What are you talking about? Why? Excuse me, I'm a parent. I love kids.
Oh, that's right. Okay. It's not creepy. So...
You're making it creepy.
I know, I'm sorry. We don't like children, we don't like to see them do things, but I do like Taskmaster so much, and I trust the people involved in it. I want it to succeed, I want it to be good, I'm sure it will be. Whether or not it will be for me remains to be seen.
And that's why you enjoy that Taskmaster video game so much, right, Vanessa?
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
She
Don't
can't
lie.
play it right now. Her ankle's broken.
Don't
My
lie.
ankle's
No, it's not.
broken.
It's not.
Technically, my bones are healed. But I have soft tissue damage.
Yet you're still not playing the Taskmaster game
I
because
can't. I have soft tissue damage.
it's not good?
I have plantar fasciitis. and
It's
soft
not a
tissue
good
damage.
game? Is that what
I
you're
would
saying?
never say that. And that's how I leveled up. Johnny, what's the Patreon?
No, we have an email to read, Vanessa.
Oh, no.
Yep, pull it up.
Okay.
I'm the one that has to edit. I'm just dragging this thing out at this point.
Let's see. Email. These
my
fall
God, it's 11
drops are
o'clock.
selling fast. Autumn's most... Oh, this is my junk mail. Never mind. Email. This is from Marcus. And its subject is... Poker Face. Johnny.
I'm listening.
We're at the
And
point of the show where
Vanessa.
everybody's staring at their phones.
I'm staring at my phone because you're making me read this email. Johnny and Vanessa, thanks for putting this show on my radar. Y'all should have a discussion episode about it and other great mystery shows, i.e. Columbo. Also, in Dishonored, the outsider is the most boring character. I found all other people to be far more interesting. The Bone Charm Lady by herself could be in a trilogy of games. Love, Marcus.
Granny Rags?
Yeah, Granny Rags. Marcus, you are welcome to you, on behalf of Johnny and myself, for turning you on to Poker Face. It's a great show. I think it got some notice and recognition when it came out, but not as much as it deserves.
Yeah, it is one of the best shot shows I've seen in years, for sure. I think the last show I saw, and I think it came out the same year, was Severance. That's the last show I just saw that was that great shot.
Did you finish it, Johnny? Have you seen all the Poker
Yep.
Face episodes now?
I sure have.
Then you've seen my favorite episode, Ski Lodge.
Ooh, because you like Joseph Gordon-Levita.
Who doesn't? Probably
He's
someone.
fine. I don't have any love for him. He's fine.
I remember once you got furious at me for me saying that I used to have a crush on Joseph Gordon-Levitt when he was in 30 Rock because you thought I was being a disgusting pervert, when in fact Joseph Gordon-Levitt is older than me and I was younger than him when I was watching 30 Rock.
I guess I always feel like he's a kid, and he's not. He is a 40-year-old.
He's a grown man.
He has a really youthful energy. Like, he can play characters 15 years younger than him. No problem.
Definitely.
Like, he has a very youthful energy.
Yeah, remember when he played Robin?
No. Oh, yes, I do. Oh, no. I blocked
Oh,
that off.
right. I forgot about that.
Terrible.
He did, didn't he?
So,
Patreon.
Patreon.
Well, probably thank you for sending
Oh,
the email.
thanks,
yes, thank
Marcus,
you
for the
sending
letter.
The email.
And we'll try to recommend more good shows going on. But yeah, I love Natasha. Natasha. Lapone? No. Leon. Natasha
yeah.
Leon. She is great. She
who
reminds
she
me a lot of my best friend growing up, and both in the good and bad ways.
Nobody, I don't know that Vanessa's mentioned it. Maybe she did, but if you're looking for a new recommendation like that, Vanessa loved. Vanessa really likes the new Matlock, starring Kathy Bates.
I did. I almost mentioned that when we were talking about Poker Face. There's only been one episode that aired so far, but I think that
It should be soon.
It'll be soon. It's going to be, I believe, a strong procedural, and gosh, I just really like Kathy Bates. I was watching an interview with her, and she was talking about sort of losing a bunch of weight recently in her 70s, and she did a very anti-Hollywood thing where she was like, everyone says I took Ozempic, and the truth is, no, I lost 90 pounds on my own, and then I took Ozempic to lose the last 10 pounds. And I just I really appreciated the transparency of that. And
Similar to
like
that,
her.
people seem to really like this new high potential show that stars Caitlin Olsen. I've heard it compared to Monk, if you're into those.
I haven't heard of it, I don't think.
And Severance is getting a second season, so you haven't checked. It's not the same kind of show. It's more of a mystery adventure. But yeah, if you like that kind of thing, check
Mystery
out
thriller.
Severance.
Severance is a thriller. Like, it's...
Yeah.
Okay.
It is... There's not a lot of scary stuff, but it's creepy.
It is, yeah. I think January is when the new season's coming out, so that is also
I will be
something to look
reactivating my
forward to.
Apple thing for that.
Yeah.
All right. We have a Patreon. One of the best things about the Patreon is you can listen to like well over 100 new episodes, bonus episodes, including us. I don't know what we're doing this month, but there's going to be something, and it's going to be amazing. Last month we talked.
I am hoping that Jim will be around so that we can watch Teen Witch, though, well, now I'm wondering if we should play the Alan Wake 2 DLC. But I don't know. Whose month is it next month?
Mine? No. Yours?
Jim's?
It's mine this
Jim's?
month. Is Jim next month? Great. He can pick the Alan Wake 2 DLC then.
And he will.
And I'll make that motherfucker watch Teen Witch this month.
Yay.
Perfect. Top that, Jim.
Yeah, top that, Jim.
Top that. Yeah, tons of bonus content. Like, if you think Max Fun shows with their like one bonus episode a year are doing stuff, we do stuff once a month. Okay, sometimes we don't put a lot of effort into it, and that's okay. But sometimes we do put a lot of effort into it, and it's a whole lot of fun.
That's right, John.
But it's
I
always
agree.
fun.
Fuck the Max Fun Network.
I like making fun of it. I still
It's
support it.
garbage. Their one bonus episode a year can go fuck itself. We do so much fucking... We do so much work. I work a full-time fucking job. And I do this. And I do a shitload of bonus episodes.
There's also the chance to vote. And as we mentioned before, there is a vote coming up. And you know Tomb Raider 2013 will be part of it. The rest TBA. And
TBA?
that's $5 a month for
ascertained?
announced. Announced. So for $5 a month, you get voting rights. For $3 a month, you get access to all the bonus episodes. And for any amount from $1 to $5,000, you will get your name read on the podcast.
And we would like to start by thanking Huxley Iguana, Matt Jorgensen, Eduardo Franco. Actually, Seattle Sounders are really host Club World Cup next year. Mm-hmm. Aaron Vanessa versus the Empire Brain Building Little.
I think it's Aaron Vanessa versus the Empire Brain Building Little, not Aaron Vanessa.
What's the Empire Brain Building?
Well, I don't know, but I guess I'm first in it.
Huh.
Amanda Douglas, Hewley Hirschholt, Brian Pitt, and Magpie.
Hoo-hoo.
Hoo-hoo.
I'd like to thank Tom, Ian Frederick, Dr. Fine, say everyone's name, Ryan, Gage, La Charité, Wash in the Wind, Anthony Lerma. I'd like to eat a nut of Lerma, Anthony Cruz, Stephen Paget, and Chad Wilson.
I'd like to thank Tracy the Borg Queen, Eric Pidcamini, Hayden Neff. I would like to subscribe more on Patreon, but I gotta save up for Dan Flashes, Sexy Grandma's Retirement Home, Omaha Zookeeper, Sol Wagner. For Square Roots Podcast, I'm Stim Stanks. I'm Arthur A., William Westgard, David Shook, friend of DeSoto, Aaron O'Toole, Lexa Varial, respectable name, Andy Smith, Butts on Parade, Daniel Wood, Orcus the Great, and DP2099.
Whoa.
send us an email. You know our email address. It's squarespodcast@gmail.com. And you can also see us on our Facebook group, the Squares Podcast group for smart, cool, very attractive people. Once again, Facebook is now not in the doghouse for worst social media network somehow. And please keep at us at squarespod.bsky.social.
Farts, 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 farts.
You read this next part, Matt.
Please rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google, Spotify, Ghana, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Thank you to Stephen Morris for our Square Roots theme. You can find Stephen on YouTube. Links are in the show notes. For the Square Roots
Link.
Podcast,
Wake up, Link.
For the Square Roots Podcast, I'm Mafu Banzan.
I'm Vanessa.
It's a lie. That's your
I'm
Johnny
Jim Banks.
Brandy. You're not Jim Banks. He's pooping.
I'm Johnny Brandon.
Yay!
Bye.
Bye.
Last time on Square Roots,
Yep, I can see it.
Corvo plays hide and seek. Does a
You
poor
can't
job
read
of
my last time. That's not allowed.
Yeah. Wow.